From the canticle of the dragon, thus began the age of despair. The roads were tangled.
The winds and the sandstorms dwelt in the husks of cities.
The plains and mountains became our home.
As the old gods lost their power, we called to the blank sky.
Into the cold, dividing gray, to the ears of new gods.
The sky is calm, silent, unmoving. We have yet to hear their answer.
Their answer.
Their answer.
Their answer.
We have yet to hear their answer. Life is a series of unfair choices, and those choices define who we are in our greatest moments and who we are in our ugliest moments. Equal measure. We all have a chance to make a difference in the world. With every new choice, every new path, and every new sunrise, we are forging our future. It hurts. It's hard. It's hard to say yes, and it's hard to say no. It's hard just to live in this world sometimes. And maybe it's hardest of all to say goodbye to those who have left us behind for whatever comes after. The last time we saw our companions in Nightland, each of them had made a choice. To save Tanis Half-Elven from Lord Zoth, to uphold the knight's oath and measure, to protect their friends, and already be the terrible future, the one we glimpsed last week. It's changing into something unknown. But before we learn what our new future has in store for us, we first have to turn back the clock several years into the past. Agatha Runerock, you are riding your horse down a wide dirt road that winds its way through the woodlands near your home. Around you are fellow dwarven outriders from your clan, road wardens on patrol to protect the forests from bandits, from hobgoblins, and other threats. On your left, there's a young female dwarf named Kieran, riding, humming a slow, idling tune that lifts up into the canopy of trees. To your right rides a grizzled old male dwarf named Gulls, one of the most veteran warriors of your clan. Without turning his head towards you, Gulls grumbles out the words, "The trails are cold. Not a sign of hobgoblin or bandit on the roads for weeks. I don't like it."
You almost sound disappointed.
These forests, they're never this clear. I've been riding many years. It's not right. What's scaring the bandits?
Well, it could be your socks, of course, but
I don't wear socks, you know that.
I do. I smell your shoes. And she's gonna push her horse a little bit further along, and open up her awareness, because I think, like Ghoul, she is unsettled by the quiet and almost frustrated by it, because like Ghouls, she's used to having little things to do, like chasing a bandit or a hobgoblin or...
So as you ride forward, you kick your horse a little bit. Gulls grunts and he kicks his too, and comes up behind you. What does Agatha look like? This is a few years ago. What's different about her then than the Agatha we know now?
Agatha then kept her hair much shorter, much more tamed. She'd kind of braid it back to keep it controlled. It's not done in an elegant or aesthetic manner. It's purely for ease. Not often having good opportunities to wash her hair on the road and trying to look presentable, as she is proud of being an outrider. And she keeps her uniform very clean and in order, mostly to keep the fleas at bay, but she has a lot of pride in her work.
Okay.
The
Go
most
ahead and read that.
difference would be on her horse. There is a simple wooden longbow and a short sword, which are very different to the weapons we're used to seeing her with her great sword and her dwarven bow.
So this is before she had acquired those weapons, or at least we don't see them right now. All right. Go ahead and roll me your perception check. So you're riding forward, and Gauls grunts, and he's catching up with you.
21.
You hear the lilting tune of Kieran off to your side. You don't hear any birds. And as you're kind of looking around and opening up your awareness, you do see a rustling of leaves in the forest up above you, and a few leaves trickling down. This is the dead of summer. It's before fall. And now there's a tuft of leaves raining down just ahead of you on the road.
She makes a really low whistle tone and nods her head in the direction, hoping that ghouls will notice too what she's seen, but not wanting to alert whatever it is maybe that has been noticed. It seems very strange that there's such disruption and there are no birds.
Gulls grunts again and grumbles out, "What is it? What do you see?"
I don't know. I don't see anything. And leaves. Leaves doing falling in the summer. And I think she's kind of getting her sword ready for something to almost poke at the canopy when she gets there if she can't see anything, but feeling unease.
Roll me another perception check.
19.
You hear a rustling to your right through the tree line. You can't see anything there, but you hear the creaking and snapping, not of twigs or bramble, but of larger wood. You hear branches falling. You have a moment to react.
I think the sword is just drawn straight out and across her, confused by the sound, and also in that almost that reaction of when a car suddenly stops and you throw your hand out to stop the passenger from moving forwards too violently. It's like, it's that sort of thing to hold back Kieran or ghouls, I forget which side they're on, and just ready.
So you've ridden up a little ahead, and you're with, half a dozen of your outriders. You throw out your arm in front of Goals, who's up beside you, and it's then that there's a crashing through the tree line, and something large smashes into you. It knocks you from your horse. Because you're ready for it, I'll give you advantage on this dexterity saving throw.
Okay. 16.
You do go flying from your horse, but you land relatively gracefully in the mud, and you hear a piercing shriek, and suddenly there's no more humming from Kieran. Instead, there's the sound of gurgling. The weight of your horse falls down, crashing on top of one of your legs, catching your leg underneath of it. And for a moment, you have the wind knocked out of you. As you're staring there and kind of struggling and looking for what's come through the tree line, you can see a trail of blood just spilling out across the road in front of you.
She is going to attempt to crawl out from under this horse, wanting her mobility, trying to bring breath back into the lungs that have been compressed by the force of hitting the ground, and reaching for the horn that she could blow as a warning to those that are coming behind, but still obviously struggling and just trying to get free from the animal that's on her leg.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a Constitution saving throw to see if you can manage the air to blow through that horn. And then I'll allow you to do an athletics check on your leg.
So it's 18 on the Constitution, 17 on athletics.
So you manage to gather the breath and you push through the horn. The sound that comes out isn't as clear or loud as it normally would be, but it's enough. And instantaneously, you can hear the sounds of men struggling, grabbing up their arms, unsheathing swords and axes. And then you see the creature. It's a large, yellow-scaled serpentine beast with barbed wings, and it's flying between two tree trunks, one on your right and one on the left of the road. And as it zooms in front of you again, it lands on that left trunk, and it opens its serpentine maw. You see poison spitting out of it. You can hear the screaming of another dwarf behind you, and as you kind of manage to finally pull your leg free and pull up over your horse, you can see what's happening. You see already in the road back behind you, Kieran on the ground, his throat ripped out. You see another dwarf, his face burning with the acid from the spit of this serpentine creature. Gulls is drawing his axe, and your other dwarven allies are drawing their weapons. You're free to do what you will.
Agatha calls out to him, "Protect your eyes! Use the trees for cover!" And she's gonna run to get a tree between her and this creature. Trying to get back towards Kieran to go and check. Obviously, they look in really bad condition, but if there's something that can be done, she's gonna try and do it, at least pull them out of the way.
Okay. When you reach Kieran, the young dwarf is holding their throat. You can see blood spilling through the cracks in their fingers. They're gasping for air, trying to say something maybe, but it's unintelligible what's coming out of their mouth. They are in the middle of the road. Are you trying to pull them off the road?
Yeah, she'll put like her arms under their like armpits and drag back. Not wanting to strain that neck at all, and not really having the leverage to be firemen's lifting them or anything of that nature.
So as you start pulling him, dragging him across the road, this creature again flits its wings and it flies around another tree trunk and reattaches itself to the edge, staring at you. Not just you, but several other allies. Right now, Gulls is approaching it with his axe. It opens up its mouth and it breathes another acidic spittle. Go ahead and make me a dexterity saving throw as you're trying to drag Kieran away.
5.
So you are dragging them, but as you're pulling them through the dirt, you're hit full force with this acid, you and several other dwarves as well. It's going to be 21 acid damage for Agatha. But you do manage to get Kieran to the side, into the bushes. You're not sure if they're okay or not.
Just to confirm, acid and not poison?
Acid.
Okay. I'll make a note. At that, Agatha is going to scramble. She really wants her bow. She's much more confident with a bow, and with a beast like this, she wants to keep range and keep dodging that acid that is spewing from the creature. She'll be communicating as best she can with those around her. Short commands, trying to keep things clear and easy. There's a lot going on.
And as you run back for your bow, calling out commands, you can hear Gulls call out too. He says, "Back to the woods, split up. They can't chase us all, fall back." You can see for a moment, even as he swings his axe, this creature serpentines, it coils away from him and he misses it. with a swing. There's fear in the old dwarf's eyes. You do reach your bow, and as you do, the creature rakes Gulls twice, one with each side of its claws. He's kind of holding the creature at bay for the moment as some of the other dwarves are starting to scramble. They look confused as to whether or not they're going to stand and fight or run. But
you heard him
your...
get... And she's already loading that bow and kind of peeling off to one side in an attempt to flank, keep the beast busy. She's looking to her horse. I'm imagining that thing, the horse is either going to get up or it's not going to get up at this point. She kind of can't persuade it one way or the other. If it's not already going, it's not going to go. So yeah, that's her focus, is getting that bow and peeling around to attempt to flank, keep the beast from focusing too much on Ghoul, hoping she can get him out of there as well.
All right. Are you firing on the creature?
Yes.
Go for it.
I'll just use my longbow.
Okay.
They get the same stats. So that's one shot. I don't know what level she is, so...
We'll just say you can use your same character sheet for these purposes.
Okay. So I'll get my extra attack as well. And that's a 22 on the second.
All right.
So
you fire off 2 rounds then? 15 total?
Yep. Yep.
So you strike it twice in the side of the neck with 2 shots from your longbow, and it does twists its head around. It coils around Gulls, and he's already turning to try to strike at it overhead with his axe, and now it's looking towards you. Go ahead and make me another dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Natural 1.
You are struck once again, having opened yourself up, made yourself vulnerable. The dwarves around you do seem, now that you've reinforced Gull's order, to be fleeing away. You have Kieran there in the bushes beside you, and you, right after you fire that second shot, are blasted again. You can feel burning through your armor, through your clothes. It'll be 21 acid damage.
Guys, get moving!
Gulls brings down his axe overhead. He strikes the creature this time, and it withdraws away. You can see some yellow blood, something liquid, spill out from the wound. And as Gulls knocks it away from him, before it can recover, he turns and he starts to run too. And he reaches you and he stops for a moment. He says, "Come on, you have to go."
Kieran, get them moving. Go, I'll cover you, go.
All right. And he goes down, he grabs Kieran, and he starts to drag him backwards, following in the direction of the other dwarves. Meanwhile, it's your turn.
Awesome. She's gonna do the same thing. She's gonna basically fire, move to another tree, and fire again, and then move again. Just to keep it chasing her and not watching Ghouls and Kieran, who are way more slower moving. This is 24 in the first one. And a miss on the second.
The first one will be a hit for 11 piercing damage.
Yep.
Excellent. You strike the creature in one of its eyes, and it pulls away and shrieks again, and it begins to flap its wings towards you. It sprawls through the air, and you feel its weight strike you. It's raking at you with both claws. A 19 on the first attack and a 16 on the second attack.
Both will hit.
So that'll be 24 slashing damage. How is Agatha looking?
She is bloodied.
And it's raking towards you right now. Just imagine the weight of something the size of a bear, but flying through the air, chaotically striking you with both ends of its serpentine body.
I imagine it's just torn through that leather armor that she wears, and you can see like the flesh beneath is like pink, and slowly ribbons of just this blood are kind of forming where it hasn't gone deep enough to really gouge into organs, but it's doing damage. And she's taking a breath, and she's really glad that she spent a lot of summers swimming and riding horses and doing athletic things, because she's going to need to run right now and run fast. What she would like to do, though, is while this creature is upon her, is strike out with one of the arrows and just stab it as hard as she can, aiming for another eye. If she can blind this thing, that would be ideal, because she knows it can move faster than her.
Okay. So let's have you make, I'll call it a called attack. So make me a melee attack, proficient weapon, so you can use your longsword if you want, and at disadvantage if you're going to try to get it right in the eye.
I'm actually going to roll my longbow attack because it's the same statistics.
Perfect.
15.
A 15 does hit it. So you take one of the arrows and you strike it through the eye. What's the damage there?
Did you want me to do it like a dagger?
No, you can use the longbow damage. It's an arrow.
12.
So you strike it in the eye and it shrieks again, and it's gonna try to, are you trying to run at the same time?
I think if she feels it like get in, it would almost be like the extra attack would be almost an attempt to grapple it, to get it turned, to get it smashed into the ground, trying to almost counter what it's been doing to her, and she's gonna try and get this beast down. It's a mad scramble. It's like a bar brawl for her in this moment. Less jovial, less alcohol involved.
Go ahead and make me an athletics check. We'll call it an opposed athletics check then.
11. I'm pushing it for no advantage.
It does manage. You try to force it to the ground and you have it down for a second, and then it bucks you back up again, and it's just clawing out wildly at this point. It can't see you, but it still feels you up against its body. Still have a movement. Are you going to take your movement, or are you going to stand your ground?
I think actually she's going to call out for anyone who's in earshot to come running back that she's, the beast is down. Hurry.
Okay. You're not sure if anybody's following behind. You're kind of
like 5 feet, but not like bursting into a sprint, because she wants to keep an eye on it now that like she knows that we've kind of got an advantage.
Okay. It'll take an opportunity attack against you, but it'll be a disadvantage because it is blind. It's good. So that'll be a 9. So it continues to rake out at you wildly, but you do manage to pull back away, and now it's kind of flailing. It crashes into a large trunk of a tree. It's going to turn and just wildly spray acid in your general direction. I'll give you advantage because it's blind on this dexterity saving throw.
13.
A 13 is just enough to avoid the spray. A 12 would not have been. And you can hear now grunt. You see several bodies, outriders who died, but because of your quick action, most of them have scattered away, and now you see Gauls tumbling back up the road towards you, axe in hand. You are going to get to act here first.
Okay. She is actually going to use, she's going to use her lightning rod ability, as she's going to favor her sword and just charge up that weapon and make a melee attack against the beast. She's in real rough shape and she wants to get out of there, but she's trying to buy everyone more time to get here so they can get this handled. We know she can do that. Oh, that's just the thing. I gotta make the attack. I use longbow again, same.
That's a hit.
20. Okay, so that'll do 6 lightning damage in addition to short sword, which is 1d6 plus strength, which is 4. 6 damage, so 12 total. 6
12
lightning.
total.
Yeah, 6 slashing, 6 lightning.
So as this thing's flailing around, for the moment, just completely discombobulated, how do you finish it off?
So she, in her head, is thinking about the dwarven ancestral home, because she's thinking that that's probably where Kieran is very rapidly going, having seen the state of it, and she's determined to send this beast to whatever ancestral home it's going to. And the lightning just kind of ripples and crackles the smell of ozone as she brings down the sword in what could be mirrored as a great sword attack, as she two-hands it, even though it's a short sword, and just slices, attempting to cut the beast's head off to end the game that they've been playing.
And with your strength coming down over her head, the short sword isn't long enough to take off the beast's head in one strike, but it does cut through half of it. You see the rest of it kind of slump aside. That serpentine body coils and falls to the ground in a heap. There's a steam that's rising from it as more of that yellow liquid comes out of it. And you hear panting behind you, Gulls, as he kind of doubles over and leans against his axe. He grunts and he says, "You've got to be the dumbest, bravest dwarf I've ever seen."
What can I say? I learned from the best. And she looks, and her longbow that she'd been using is actually like snapped in two, and the string is just holding the two parts together. And she like swings it over her shoulder, and I think just kind of falls backwards, now having a moment to catch her breath and just feeling the intense pain of that acid burning into cuts, staring at the beast that is kind of at her feet just beyond.
Agatha, your mind snaps away from the memory of you fighting the wyvern in your homeland back to the present. The sun is rising in Nightland, and the sky above you is clear, except for where it is choked with smoke from the fires that are burning in the town of Dargard down below. You are flying through the air enchanted by Honoria's magic, and you fire 2 arrows at the gargantuan red dragon and Lord Soth, its black-armored rider. Both arrows come up short, and the dragon and its rider turn their attention towards you. The dragon's jaws stretch, and you can see fire and inferno igniting in the back of its gullet.
Am I allowed a reaction?
Absolutely.
In a reaction, she summons the mists which swarm around her, and she steps forward and into this tunnel and misty steps 30 feet. She's looking to hide behind a wall, behind a building, in a building, like anywhere that she can see that she can get into. That is where she'd like to be moving, keep moving.
And you misty step forward behind one of the remaining taller structures in the town, a steepled church that's no longer used as a church. You can see through its stained glass broken window from where you appear in front of that it's basically been used as a makeshift infirmary for the military that lives in the town. For a moment, you're away from the sight of the dragon. You can hear it roar. At the same time, you see flying up above you Honoria. She's flying in the direction of Tanis Half-Elven, the red-bearded, long, red-haired, leather-clad warrior sitting and riding in the back of a younger copper dragon. And you can see Honoria flying past you now, and she's gone after a moment.
I hope you got a better plan than me, Time Witch. And she's gonna kind of crawl along a little bit, just using a little more movement to get to a better spot.
As you're crawling along.
Any, living people in the town, or is everyone barbecue?
No, so the town below is still in the middle of battle. There's a lot of barbecue, but there's still knights of both sides fighting, scrambling. It's still very much a battlefield down below in the streets. Well, we're going to cut away from Agatha here, and we're going to go to Honoria. Honoria, you have come back through time to the moment where you left off, and unlike before, this time Honoria is flying towards the town of Dargard, towards Tannis Half-Elven. As you pass Agatha, who's kind of hiding behind this building, you see Lord Soth turn towards you, even if his dragon is still looking outward. And he raises his head. You can see the crimson orbs that burn in his sockets flare brightly. His dark voice echoes from beneath his twisted black iron great helm. The wizard, they are here. His voice echoes out. What's Honoria doing?
I'm disoriented, going from one timeline to another. I feel like my memories are just crossing over together, and hearing Soth's voice kind of snaps me back to my present reality. I think I'm slowly going a little bit insane. I don't think the human mind was meant to hold on to this. I've almost forgotten as to why I was flying towards Tannis Half-Elven in the first place. If I look down, do I still see my companions on the cliff, or is that another timeline?
Well, as you look down, what you would see is the town of Dargard. It's on fire. One of the skeletal dragons is worming its way through the street, while another you can see has been slain. It's actually crushed down up against the street, the stone of the street, with a number of knights on top of it, striking it with weapons. But the other dragon is still up. The skeletal dragon down below opens its maw. You can see fire raging from its bony mouth. Cooking knights. You see molten slag of buildings that have been melted, flowing like blood through the town. As far as your friends go, you noticed, I'll say, Agatha a moment before. You just flew past her, and then not far behind, flying from the west in your direction, is Rookone and Nova. They're a little bit further away because Agatha's teleported a couple of times to give her a little boost of speed. And then up above, Lord Soth on an ancient red dragon, and Tannis Half-Elven, full fiery red beard, green leather armor. He's just loosed another arrow from his longbow, and he's riding atop a copper dragon.
Sorry, I'm thinking about doing something incredibly stupid here. Give me just a
I'm all about
second.
it. I like this.
Is Lord Soth saddled in the traditional way onto his dragon?
No, he's not. He doesn't need to do that.
Of course he doesn't. He just hangs on with his legs because he's an undead Death Knight god. So he has nothing that is harnessing him in. He's just barebacking this dragon. Okay. Well, there goes my incredibly stupid idea. I'm going to fly up to Tannis Half-Elven, hoping that he's not going to attack me.
You see his eyes flittering down below, almost like he's looking for something in the smoke, and then he sees you approach. He does draw his bow back. He does not fire at you, but he calls out, "Who are you?"
I am a friend, I say, looking over to Lord Soth and narrowing my eyes at him. I know where Lorana is.
Where is she?
You'll have to come with me to find out. Or shall we do this battle together now? I say, looking at Lord Soth, not really wanting a part of it, but more kind of saying it like to help him believe that I'm on his side and not leading him into some sort of trap.
Give me persuasion test, and I'm only asking for this because you are wearing the robes of a black wizard.
As a 13.
He seems to hesitate for a moment on the back of his dragon, unsure if he's going to follow you or not. But you see Soph is still watching you, and again, those red eyes glow brighter. And as they do, for a moment, they dim, and then you see Soph dissolve into shadow. His dragon's still there, but he vanishes.
And it's not a spell.
It's just his ability. It's just what he does. You have a moment to react here, and then
Is
what happens?
he moving somewhere around us? Is this some sort of sneaky soft fuckery?
Roll me a perception check.
That is a 6. I am completely taken off guard.
The smoke from the burning town below is stinging your eyes. It's hard to see much of anything. You hear the sounds of the dying. You hear the battle raging. You can see the red dragon as it continues to flap its wings. You can feel the wind rushing away from it towards you, but you don't see where Lord Soth went to immediately. Anything else you'd like to do here?
No, I am still overwhelmed by what's happening. If anything, I'd like to drop back towards my friends, and I'll just look at him and say, until next time then, good luck. And I will speed back towards the direction of my friends. He can take with the information what he wants. I have bigger fish to fry. Where is Nova?
So as you fly away, unsure if he's following you or not, as more smoke rises and kind of clouds your view, let's bring in everyone else here who's in the town of Dargard, except for Avrin, of course, who is in Nova's arm of holding. We'll get to Avrin here shortly. So Rookone and Nova, you have been chasing Rookone, carrying Nova through the air. Agatha, who's suddenly flown towards the town, has antagonized this dragon and continued to teleport. She's a little further away from you, hiding behind a building. Now you see the dragon, and it sees you. You see Lord Soth on its back one moment, and then the smoke passes across your eyes, and when it's gone again, Soth is gone, but the dragon is there. What's Rookone and Nova doing?
What a time to be alive. So, like, seeing all this stuff happen, am I able to locate Agatha where she teleported to? Because my mission
you can see her in moments. Yeah, you see where she is in a moment.
The mission wasn't to attack the dragon. The mission was to prevent Agatha from rushing into her death. So unless otherwise provoked by Nova, he's going to change. And I see Honoria, right? She's in the field of view?
Yeah, she's actually closest to the dragon right now. The dragon, once Agatha vanished, turns its head, it cranes its head around, and now it's paying attention to Honoria.
All right. I'm going to change my direction to Honoria's direction based on the focus of the dragon.
Okay, so you're flying upwards. Nova, how are you taking this?
I think she doesn't have she can't fly. So she's just like, this is not a great idea. Got a lot of people here. That's a big dragon. I mean, not that I don't want to punch the dragon in the face. I just don't think now is the time.
I'm not going after the dragon.
Well, good. I was mildly concerned for you and Avrin's mutual well-being for a moment.
So here's the layout, right? You're at the town walls. The town beyond is burning. There's a battle there. Flying up above the town, perched on its other set of walls, is this gigantic red dragon. Honoria is flying highest. You have Agatha kind of hiding behind a 3-story building that looks like a church. And then you're flying upwards to meet Honoria. Is that the goal here?
Correct.
All right. I think this is the point where I have to ask everyone involved to roll me initiative.
Oh. Okay, Dawn.
I dedicate this fight to everyone who punched Deathwing in the face. Just.
Okay. So you have advantage on your initiative roll, Rokon?
Yep.
Cool. So 19.
Also, like, Honoria notices me, correct?
Yeah, I would say that because she was looking for you, I would say that you've all found each other, at least in moments. You're aware of the general direction that you all are in. And as you get closer to this dragon, I'll say this too. There is an aura of dragon fear when you're this close. Nova's not affected by it, but the rest of you will have to make saving throws at the start of your turn to deal with the dragon fear.
That's strength saving throw, right?
That's right. No. Okay, so
Again, I'm not afraid of the dragon. This is just not tactically sound. I just.
You want to make a new friend, maybe on the top 10 list, kind of.
Oh no, he's with Soph. He has to die. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
As you fly up, the order will be the dragon, Rokon, Honoria, Nova, Agatha. Currently, so the dragon is going to open its maw a little further, and that ignition in the back of its gullet turns into full-fledged fire. I do need a dexterity saving throw from Rokon, and I think I'll count Rokon's for Honoria since she's like basically being flown by him.
For me?
Unless if he fails, I'll give you the opportunity to jump out of his arms and make your own.
Okay. Sure. Let's see how that goes.
Oh no! It's a 10. I have advantage, so it's not an 8.
Okay. So is Nova staying? Is she clinging to Rokon still as you're flying up higher?
How high up are we? Just.
Right now, you're just above the town walls, so you're about 20 feet up. But
Okay.
Honoria is higher up, and Honoria, I need you to make me the saving throw too. You're in the AOE.
I don't think I can make the save. Just mechanically, it's an ancient dragon. But
Oh,
I'll
I'm
try.
gonna use my inspiration because my concentration is what's keeping everybody up in the air right
Uh-huh.
now. So
This is your last inspiration.
this
It
is
does seem
my
like a good time
last
to use it.
inspiration, so
I too will use an inspiration.
Okay.
it's not a natural one.
Let's see. Would this count as a magical effect, Dawn?
Yes, I would say. I
Okay.
would say so.
Okay, I have advantage then. So just kidding, I'm not going to use that because I already have advantage. Glad I asked that. So okay.
This is just fear, not actual physical
No, this is fire. This is fire breath.
fire pain. Got it.
Oh.
So
That's a 9. Thank you.
So the ancient red dragon opens its maw. It sprays an arc of fire that burns through the air. It strikes all three of you in turn within its cone. So it's going to be...
Night, guys.
Is this right? 57 fire damage.
Oh, maybe not. Good night. Can I use my reaction to
Yes.
cast absorb elements?
Absolutely.
Yes. So I'll half that.
Okay.
You said 57, correct?
57 fire damage.
Okay. I accidentally took off my abjuration buff when we started on D&D Beyond, so I'm just going to figure out what that bonus is. Just to I'm going to soak as much as I can, and then take the fire to the face.
All right. And we just had a couple of rounds of inspiration come in for everybody. I'm updating that right now.
You're great.
Rokon, it's your turn. So the dragon, it begins to beat its wings. It rises up off of that back far west eastern wall of the town now, and it's beginning to fly overhead in your general direction.
Cool. Well, my plans have changed. Did Nova release herself from?
Yeah, I let go.
Let
So
go?
she drops through the air. Do you have anything that prevents you from suffering from falling damage?
Well, I would cast Feather Fall, but my reaction was to half the fire damage. So
It was a good It was a good choice. All right, so let's do this.
I figured the fall damage would be less.
8 fall damage.
Yeah, that's definitely less. I'll take that.
So Nova, just to kind of say what happens, you drop out of Ruko and you crash into, I'll give you a choice here since you guys were right at the edge of the town, right at the wall. Are you dropping towards the town or away from the town?
I think at this point, this is not tactically sound. I think she's dropping on the other side of the wall. Away
Into the town?
from the town.
Oh, away from the town.
Yeah.
So you fall to the road just outside of town. The gates are open, smashed down by what looks like a battering ram, so you can still see the fires from within, but you are on the outside of the town currently.
I have myself an Avrin to protect.
You have obstructed view from the dragon currently.
That's fine.
Rookone, it's your turn.
Okay, so Honoria's up, Agatha's down. I still have both of them in my sights.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All right. And how far away are each of them from me, since I can see them both?
You could reach Honoria this turn. Nova's 20 feet below you. Honoria is like 30 feet up and diagonal in the direction of the dragon. And then there's the dragon, which is a little bit further away. Much further away. It's about 200 feet away from you.
All right. All right. Well, in reacting off of complete and total instinct, I am going to go for Honoria.
Okay. Was that a 1d2 to determine where you go?
Yep.
Awesome.
Complete and total instinct, aiming up, using my dash action. Will I be able to reach her?
Yeah, you can reach Honoria. What are you trying to do as you get to her?
In the shortest amount of time possible. We have to go. This is not a fight we can win.
So let me ask Honoria this. Did you succeed your concentration check?
I did. In fact, we are all still in the air with that sweet 16.
That's what I thought. Awesome. So Rookone flies towards you, or he uses his dash action to get there. So you guys are kind of together now. Honoria, it's your turn.
I just kind of nod. You have Lily on your back, the child.
I don't.
No, Lily was with Sir Riordan.
And Riordan, Shadow, and Lily are outside.
Yeah, they're further away from the town. They went in the opposite direction of the town.
Lead on, I say, and I'll use my action to dash and get the fuck out of here. Fuck this dragon. Fuck Tannis, half-elven. Fuck everybody.
All right. Nova, it's your turn.
Hi. Yeah, I'm on the ground now. There's some woods nearby, yeah?
Yeah. You moving into the trees?
Mm-hmm. Out of line of sight, sticking where I have cover. Because there's big flyy dragon thingies and stuff. And in the direction I saw Riordan and Lily go. Because I need to check on Lily and make sure she's okay.
Okay. You see you're heading...
the dragon's attention, it might follow us. So yeah, I'm going to head in that direction.
You're kind of weaving through the forest, not on the road, so you have more cover, but you're heading west away from the town. Agatha, it's your turn. You're still hiding behind the church. You saw the fiery breath. You saw your friends sort of scatter. What do you do?
Do I have an angle to be able to see what's going on with Tannis and his copper dragon and the other side of the events?
Roll me a perception check.
Cool. It's 23.
You see a shadow through smoke, and even though you can't see him clearly, you make out the outline well enough that you know that that shadow is the smaller dragon. You can even see the shadow of Tannis on its back, where he's mounted in. And it seems to be flying in the direction of the larger red dragon.
Alright, since no one seems to be pinned down, she wants to continue providing distractions, hoping to give advantage to the smaller dragon and its rider. She wants to do what she did in the woods. She wants to shoot and fire. She wants to protect the town from the monster. And so that's what she's going to do. Take a shot, run, take a shot. Using buildings for cover. Broken bits of building are fine, still counts. But yeah, that's what she'd like to do.
Okay.
Keep moving.
Moving to attacks.
18 and a 15 on the second one.
Both shots break against the scales of the dragon as you kind of are flying between buildings. Make me a stealth check.
Nope.
You land on top of a roof of a building, and for a moment you thought that you'd had worked out a path that would keep you hidden. And then as the dragon continues to fly towards the other edge of town, you see that you are right in its path. You've put yourself out into the open for a moment. Anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
I'm just double checking my bonus actions.
Sure.
Panic is what I'm doing right now. Panic. Ooh, okay. Sure. I want to cast... No, I don't want to do that. Actually, no, I'm not going to do anything for my bonus action. Bonus action, attempt to hide in the middle of this open space.
As you hide out in the open, you see the shape of the copper dragon and Tannis move through the smoke towards the large red dragon. Fireflash, the copper dragon, though you wouldn't know his name, is going to go ahead and unleash a bolt of arcing lightning from its mouth. Let's see if this dragon can save. It does save, so it will only take half damage. It does strike the larger dragon. You can see the arc of lightning jumping between its scales. And then Tannis will also unleash 2 rounds. The second round, which actually strikes the dragon, sticks in between 2 of its scales. The dragon rumbles, and you can hear the roar through the air as its head rips away from you and basically refocuses on Tannis. That's the dragon's turn now, so let's see if he recharges. Nope. So instead, you hear a voice in a language that I don't think you speak. Do you speak Draconic, Agatha?
Nope.
Honoria, do you speak Draconic?
Nope, it's one of the ones I don't.
It's a strange...
You can't see Greg, chat, but he's doing one of these in the background.
You hear what sounds like a guttural, strange language, and you're not sure what is being said, but... The dragon casts a spell. He casts Flesh to Stone on Tannis half-elven.
Can I counter it from my distance?
What is the distance on counterspell there?
It is 60 feet. I have Spell Sniper, though, but that doesn't help me with counterspells, does it?
It doesn't help you with counterspell. Yeah, you've flown out of range of the dragon as you're escaping.
Well, good luck, buddy.
Let's see how he's doing. So, on a failed saving throw, It's restrained. So you see Tanis half-elven, Agatha. He locks up, and you can see something strange changing about the hue of his face. No longer pink, something grayer as something begins to stretch over him. That's the dragon's turn. We're back to Rook-Own now.
Can I use my reaction? Does this count as an attack, this spell? I was just reading my notes. I'm sorry, Billy.
That's okay. What are you wanting to do?
Because I have a reaction with my bow. If one of my allies is attacked as a reaction, I can take a shot. If that shot hits, something else happens.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah? Okay. Natural 20.
That's a hit.
Alright.
It's a critical hit.
So that's 15 piercing damage.
Okay.
And as a free reaction, as a free part of this, I can Misty Step for free. And I want to Misty Step out of the middle of this street. But I want to go kind of to the other side of the dragon completely. So if it turns around looking for me, I am in completely the opposite direction. But aiming to kind of in a way get closer to Honoria and Rook-Own and people who are kind of on the other side.
Okay.
Obviously they're wrong, but
you're fleeing basically to the west with this Misty Step. Okay.
Yeah, I want to move in that direction.
You strike the dragon, and it does turn back with its long head towards you, but by the time its eyes reach that spot out in the open where you were on top of the building, you're gone. Go ahead and roll me another stealth check to see if you can stay hidden here.
Nope.
Well, we'll see. All right, Rook-Own, it's your turn.
How far away from me is everything? So like each individual situation. So Agatha, how far away is Agatha from me?
So she's just teleported towards you. You're actually now the one deepest in town because you dashed into town. Okay. Agatha is close, like 30 feet from the edge of town. Honoria is right at the edge of town. Nova, you can't see anymore.
All right, how about
Can I have teleported to nearer to Rook-Own? Because she's not like bouncing all the way out and ditching.
Yeah, so Agatha's like within 30 feet of Rook-Own. The dragon is right in the middle of town, flying, beating its wings, and then you do see this smaller dragon and its rider having flown towards the dragon and swooped away, but as it was swooping away from the larger dragon, it unleashed a lightning breath on it.
Okay. Is the dragon's up still?
Oh yeah.
That's the small dragon, and so they're like, so of the people that are in town, the red dragon is how far away from me?
Maybe 60 feet at this point.
And the copper dragon?
30 feet in the opposite direction of Agatha.
Okay, but away from me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so with the lightning bolt that was just released on, do I notice what has happened to Tanis?
Roll me a perception check.
Or the person on top, not that I would know who the F Tanis was. That is a performance. That is not a perception.
I'll let you keep your natural 20 though. Because it's fun when you roll one. Yeah, you notice something strange. You're not sure how it's happening or what happened, but the dragon seemed to speak in a foreign language. And when he did, Tanis dropped his bow. It fell into town, and his body kind of goes stiff at an awkward position with his arms partially outspread. That doesn't look like everything's okay with him.
All right. For tomorrow, I'm going to move 30 feet towards the dragon and attempt an animal handling check to mount it.
Okay. Go for it.
I'm going to burn an inspiration on this.
So are you coming in? Let me ask you this: are you coming in like motorcycle backseat style to Tanis?
Correct.
Okay, so you're wrapping your arms around Tanis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, 18 is pretty good. So you fly up towards this dragon, you come up and you swoop down, you wrap around Tanis, and as you do, you can see that the patches of his skin are changing. They're turning to stone. You can see his eyes bulging. You can see the muscles in his face twitching now you're this close. And Tanis himself is rigid to touch. You can't move his arms. And the dragon Fireflash turns its head back towards you for a second, and then it turns away from you again and continues to fly. I'll let you try. Like you can't really like tell it what to do. You can try each turn, but it does not buck you off of it.
Okay. And that's
your turn.
all I can do. Yeah.
All right, Honori, it's your turn.
I guess I'm not really looking in that direction. I'm kind of pull a quick fly around look to see what's happening. And I see that our resident dwarf is being insane and deciding to continue fighting a dragon. I've got Raccoon. Nova is where?
Roll me a perception check.
Swear to God. Gods. That's a 9.
There's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of smoke. You saw Nova drop out of Raccoon's arms outside of town, but by the time you get to the edge of town, you don't see her.
If I was a Kender, and I wasn't interested in flying towards a dragon fight, where would I go? She's got Averin with her. I guess I will start plummeting down towards the ground. I will call out, "Don't stay in the air too long," hoping that my companion will hear me over the madness that's going on. But if I leave Agatha more than 10 minutes with or without my Constitution saving throw, she will drop like the dwarven rock that she is. And I will hit the ground and begin looking if I can get to the ground in one turn. I'm presuming not seeing Tanis being turned to stone. Yeah, no, I don't think I care enough about him to look. And I drop down to the ground looking for Nova, who is my sole destination at this point.
All right. If you're going all the way to the ground, I'll give you one more perception check.
Fuck!
Snow, trees, a broken gate behind you, a town burning within it.
Looking for a Kender who's trying to stay hidden. Yeah. I will do myself, or try to look as sad and pathetic and elderly as I can, walking away, hoping that people attacking will just take pity on me and limp around.
All right, so
you kind of crawl to where I need to get to go.
You start croning it up away from the town. Nova, how about you? What are you doing?
Do I see Honoria croning it up?
Roll me a perception
I
check.
would love to see this. Nope, that's a 2.
No, because you moved too far into the forest at this point to kind of obstruct yourself.
She doesn't want to get too far away, but she knows now's not the time. For this battle, she's gonna fight this Sothan dragon. She's gonna do it with an army. So she's gonna keep following after where she saw Riordan and Lily go west.
All right.
And she's gonna try to be stealthy about it too, and keep an eye out for her friends. So if she sees them, she can backing them over, backing them down.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a stealth check here.
Sure.
And you're making your way further and further away from the town at this point. Agatha, it's your turn. You see Honoria go down to the ground before you, and she kind of bends over and starts lurching down the road. You see Rookone on top of the smaller copper dragon, very close to the red dragon behind you, with Tanis half-elven. You're at the edge of town now. What would you do?
She, I imagine, heard Honoria's call and is going to... How close am I to that church?
You can get there this turn if you'd like.
Yeah, so she wants to use her flight and movement just to fly up to the roof of the church to get a good sniping position, basically. She has no idea what Rookone is doing, but she's here to support and distract. So she's gone up, she flies up using her movement, get up there, clinging to the, I imagine it's like one of those square, triangle, pyramid-y roofs. I can do shapes.
That's right.
Steeple. And so, yeah, she'll kind of dig the toes of her boots in to whatever is being used for roofing and try and get some shots off. She wishes she could slice into this thing with the sword because she knows it's stronger, but from here, she doesn't necessarily think it's the best idea. So she... Let me check this spell a second. She is going to use Ray of Frost to blast out at this red dragon.
Okay.
Or attempt to. Nope. So it just goes out into the dark, this cold blast of magic, and she feels frustration. And she is going to attempt... Let me see what that was. Let me go check that. To just then take a shot with her bow using her war magic feature. I can do an attack if I use a cantrip. So I'm just gonna fire with the bow in frustration, and in her head she's chanting through a very long list of names, focusing out into the dark.
And trying to keep your range and play it smart is making it hard for you to hit this creature at this range.
You know what? I'm going to use my action surge and I'm going to redo that and do some more shooting.
Absolutely.
She's going to run out of arrows eventually, but until then. 27.
That is a hit.
And then the second one will be a miss.
For 6 piercing damage.
Oh, I rolled in... Oh, no, that's the greatsword, don't mind. Yep, 6 piercing damage.
And you're trying to, like, shoot and then jump back before it sees you, right? That's the idea?
Yeah, it's kind of shoot, sidestep a little bit, come back out. You know, when you're providing cover in PUBG or whatever game is your preference.
Like roll me a stealth check.
18. A little bit better.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to turn towards you when you shoot it this time. There are volleys of arrows coming from the knights on the ground, the soldiers on the ground. Battle's still raging down there, and at least for the moment, the red dragon's so focused on a lot of you who are kind of weaving in and out that it hasn't returned its attention to destroying these rebel knights. It is Fireflash's turn. His lightning breath recharges with a 5. So, Rookone, you're on the back of this creature, and the dragon continues to pull away from the red dragon. Fireflash cranes its neck and it unleashes another arc of lightning. And again, it strikes the dragon, this time right in its face. You can hear a low rumble followed by a higher pitched shriek, and it does 55 lightning damage. It does full damage this time. And for a second, the larger beast is kind of shaking its head and looks a little dazed. Tanis has to make a saving throw. And you can see that patch of stone continue to spread, and it's spreading quickly. You can see it on his hands. The one that's ungloved, you can see it reaching across his face towards one of his eyes. It is the red dragon's turn before you, Rookone, and the red dragon does not recharge its breath attack. So instead, it again rumbles. You can hear what sounds like language in a foreign tongue, very, very guttural and harsh. And the copper dragon. Roll me a perception check, Rookone.
Gotcha. Let me find it first. And it's going to be not performance this time. It's going to be perception. 21.
So you feel like a static charge in the air with these words, and then you see the copper dragon that you're riding, its head shake back and forth. It begins to fall through the air, and then it rises again, and it turns its head back towards you. As it does, you can see, you notice that its eyes have changed hue. They are now glowing red.
Neat.
It is your turn.
So like an aggressive red, or like you left the candy in the microwave too long red?
Lords up.
We'll call it a dominate person, dominate beast red.
Okay. So, all right. So, my perception, like, so the whatever the stone stuff is, this person that I'm holding on to right now is being affected by all this stone stuff. Oh, Jesus Christ. Let me. How is the person I'm holding getting heavier?
I mean, if you were to try to lift him off and get him out of his saddle, unstrap him, you're not sure. You'd have to try.
All right, so there's a saddle involved. Is there any other weapons he's holding or anything?
Yeah, he's got a sword sheathed on his belt. He's dropped his longbow. He's got a quiver with arrows in it.
Okay. All right. He's strapped into the saddle. All right. I'm going to bolt. I'm going to realize the fuckery at foot, and then bolt out of there, headed towards where I perceive my allies to be.
Are you doing anything with Tanis before you leave?
No, because that dragon turning around aggressively sure did change my plans again. And I can't unstrap him. That would take too long with a vicious dragon.
Roll me an insight check.
I'll roll. I'll do this on advantage.
Okay.
Crit that MFer.
Bang.
You can see his eyes bulging wide with fear, and beneath the rumbling and roaring of the dragon, you can hear a voice, tiny, almost frozen. Help.
So how thick are these straps that are keeping him in?
I mean, they're meant to keep somebody locked in, but they're just straps.
All right, so I'm gonna so mounting this dragon, right? I'm gonna scoot up, put my feet on both the sides of the dragon, keep this person tucked into my chest, and deadlift this MFer straight up off the saddle and try to break these straps instead of trying to get him out of the harness.
Roll me an athletics check.
Did I mention I was gonna use my bonus action to rage beforehand?
No, but you absolutely can. You're really going into a rage here?
Fuck yes.
All right.
28.
You rip Tanis, who is much heavier than a normal person should be, as his flesh and presumably other parts of him within his flesh are turning to stone. And you rip him up through the bindings. You feel the straps snap, and you go straight up into the air. Where are you heading?
To my allies, kind of coasting off into the ground level. No more than like 10 to 15 feet off the ground to allow for maneuverable tactics in the event of a chase.
At least for the moment, it does look like there's a chase as the red dragon turns away from you, but the copper dragon continues to fly behind you. And you, as you're flying towards the edge of town, see Agatha there. You have a moment where you're fairly close, and Agatha, you see he's like carrying this man who's turning to stone in front of your eyes. Anything you'd like to do?
From me to Agatha, or from Agatha to me? Yeah.
Both of you.
So how much would you say Tanis is weighing right now?
And see, he's one failed saving throw into flesh to stone, so 280 pounds.
All right, I'm gonna try to stick him under one arm and then leave one arm open for Agatha and head right towards Agatha.
Agatha.
I'm gonna try. This is my intent. I'm going to, like, it's obvious I'm going to try to take you with me.
I think Agatha is going to be looking back at this town and seeing the shit show and realizing we're about to rip the leader of the opposition out of this town, and that isn't entirely what Agatha had meant to do in coming in here. Are there any, like, knights or anything nearby? Can she see anyone else that's doing any leading here? Aside from the dragons?
It looks like small pockets of organized units in the chaos below. Knights with the insignia of lilies or skulls on their armor, fighting against Knights of the Crown and Knights of the Sword. These are Soth's knights. Most of Soth's army seems defeated. There's not many of them left, but there's still a number of knights, rebel knights, circled around the bone dragon, the remaining bone dragon, and they're each coming at it and striking it and then backing away before it snaps at them or breathes fire at them. They're basically trying to surround it.
And the town itself, does it seem as if it's been mostly kind of burnt down and ripped apart at this point?
Yeah, there's literally molten metal from buildings flowing through streets and people's bodies caught up in it. It's demolished.
There's this wave of guilt as she realizes that we forfeited the people of this town a long time ago with our decisions. She'll call to the knights if she passes any to help the ones focusing on the bone dragon. And just if anyone is nearby, a soft knight-wise, she'll try and shank them. Just grab that. She'll come down from the church down to ground level and get the greatsword out, and she'll just start shanking people as she watches, like, Rook obviously an approach. But
okay,
that's what she's up to while this is all.
You're mixing it up with the knights on the ground, not giving up. And Rookon, as you approach, Agatha's still in the middle of the town fighting. What is that interaction between the two of you there?
Determination on my end.
You're determined
Can't
to
just take the leader away, Rook. They're winning. And just, well, all the meantime, just hacking, slashing, shielding.
My intent remains the same.
So what is your intent? Is your intent to leave Agatha behind?
No, my intent is to take her with me.
So even if she's fighting against you?
Correct.
Agatha, as he flies in and tries to scoop you up off the ground and grab you, he's got tennis in his other arm. What does Agatha do?
I think initially she would attempt to push back, but I think as soon as there is that contact, it's gonna just be just a scream that comes out of her because she doesn't want to hurt Rook, and fighting at this point is just gonna hugely endanger Rook, whose name I don't know if she even knows yet. So I imagine there's just this huge scream, and she remembers the feeling of the wyvern coming in and winding her, and it's that same feeling of it all being just pulled away, and there's nothing she can really do. She doesn't want to hurt Rook by fighting back. That seems real stupid to her. She doesn't fly a whole lot, but it seems really stupid to fight someone who's flying while carrying someone else. So
as Rookone then grabs and scoops Agatha up off the ground, give me one more athletics check. See if you can hold both of these figures at the same time. They are getting pretty heavy.
Let me share this with you, and then let me know if
if it helps, Don, I'm not super heavy because I'm only in medium or light armor.
And so my carrying capacity is 600 pounds.
So I'll give you advantage on this check.
I'm raging, so I would have advantage regardless.
Okay.
Okay. $31.
You're able to do it, and Agatha is fighting against you as you fly away from the town. We'll save. I'll remember that. We're going to cut away from here as you are flying away, Agatha and Tanis in your arms, this copper dragon flying behind you, lightning spreading out of its breath. And we're going to go briefly to inside the arm of Nova to Avrin. Avrin, I imagine you can hear like just faint trails of sound from what's happening outside, just phantoms of sound. You've been alone in the dark for a while now. What's Avrin doing right now?
Avrin, at first is kind of, she would pace, but there really is no floor to this space. So she's just kind of floating, thinking for once. Though she's trying very hard not to think about all the things that she has to unpack. Rather, her mind is going to the moment that she was, or at least her mind's eye was, in the midst of an undead army. And she keeps thinking about that. Not in just mulling on the moment, but try as an assassin would. How would this be an opening?
You can feel what sounds like humming, like a deep, dirgeful song, and the vibrations of it just slightly from within the cloth where that green gem is. You've wrapped it back up, but the last time you saw that army, you were holding it in your hand.
Yeah, and so after a moment, I think listening in on what she can hear of what's going on outside, hoping that her friends are okay, she actually, she's gonna take out a, I'm sure Nova would have some parchment and some ink in here.
I would imagine so, yeah.
Oh yeah, 110%.
Yeah.
A lot of them have like slight schematic doodles on them, but there's definitely some blank sheets.
That she's probably like reaching around and like pulling some to her, probably having to push off the sides of the arm sometimes to reach. I think she'll prop it up against a surface and write a small note. And it just says, "If I'm not back, I'm sorry." And she's just gonna wave it a bit to try to dry it off. And then let it float out into this odd space as she reaches into her pocket and pulls out the emerald once more.
You can see the things that float here turning about, bouncing off of invisible walls. And that note floating away from you, and now you can feel the vibration of the gem as you hold it, not in your hand, but through your entire body. What is your idea here? What are you trying to do?
I want to see if I can willingly connect with that undead army, but still keep my mind, and see if I can pull myself back out.
Roll me a charisma saving throw.
All right, we're using an inspiration for that.
Okay.
Natural 20.
You guys in your natural 20s. So you feel the vibration through your entire body. And in the distance, in the darkness of this space, this pocket dimension, you see a flash of green lightning, and then another flash of green lightning in the shadow, the darkness around you. All of the floating objects around you tear away. For a moment, you're back on that beach again with red blood-stained waters lapping up against the shore, and in the distance, the maelstrom, that constant storm. You see the figure there, back turned towards you. There's a crash. And another crash. For a moment, you're hovering here, but you have control. You can keep going, and you can return to that army.
I think she does linger for a moment. I don't think she realizes she does. But she shakes her head a bit.
And just like paper, you keep it going. The entire space around you, the beach tears away, and then you feel yourself rushing in on the wind, and you are amidst a great army of many different abominations and undead creatures. You can see very close now the east side of Dargard, the town that's burning. You can see Dragon up above it, a great red beast roaring, fiery breath escaping its mouth. The smoke is billowing through the wind towards you. Where you stand, there's a dark cloud. Everywhere else in the sky, except for where the army marches, is bright blue and sunny. You are amidst them.
Yep. Try not to panic, but she's going to walk with them, but her eyes are searching, looking for any signs of what is guiding them, any signs for what kind of creatures these are, pulling it apart like you would any other scheme.
Roll me an Arcana check.
Okay. I'll just use another inspiration. Why not? 14.
And you feel that you are still yourself. You still have control even though you walk amongst these creatures, and feel pretty sure that all of them are marching in step, completely controlled by one singular force, one singular will. You're not able to discern exactly whose that will is by focusing on the green gem in your hands, but you are able to tell that it is one leader that is leading this army.
Have any of them noticed me or my presence?
They don't seem to have.
I think she's going to start pushing forward a bit, seeing if she can slip through them.
Where's she heading? What's she doing?
I think she's heading closer to the front. Still staying within the shade, but closer.
You can tell that this army is going to be onto the city very soon, the town very soon. They're moving slowly, but they're close now. Roll me one more charisma saving throw.
Is that one more inspiration? 15.
You feel for a second that you're stepping in step with the other undead creatures, and then you stutter out of that grasp. You're not part of the hive mind. However, with only a 15, something sees you in the sky, in the clouds above you. You see two burning red eyes.
I think as she looks up and sees those eyes now having spotted her. I think very far away from me, correct?
Up in the clouds.
And this dragon that's creating shade is right above me.
It's in the town itself, so it's
That's
still
in
a
the
way
town.
away from you. Yeah.
Okay. More than 150 feet?
You're a couple miles outside of the town.
Okay.
You can just see it in the distance.
Yeah.
The dragon is so large that you can make it out there flying. You can see the spark of its fire.
Okay. Yeah, I think if she notices that she's been noticed, she'll do the dumb thing. She's going to raise a hand in a little mock wave, and she's going to cast Chain Lightning on the undead around her.
All right, throw that up there.
Okay. DC 15 dexterity save, 37 lightning.
Roll me a charisma saving throw.
Okay. Grayson. Natural 20.
You realize for a moment as you summon the energy, you touch that scar on your face and electricity begins to crackle out of it, that you're there and you're not there. You're in a pocket dimension and you're not all at once. And despite that, you witness somehow through sheer force of will, this magical energy rip outwards through a great number of the creatures all around you. You're in the middle of this army and it strikes many of them down immediately. They fall and crumple. Their bones, those that are skeletons, shatter outward into 100 splinters. All of the remaining creatures, which is most of the army, still stop. They all turn towards where you are and are not at the front of this army.
And I think after the last bit of static fades away, there's still a flash of green in her eyes as she looks back up again and flips off Soth, and then uses the emerald to nope out of there.
With a 20, I'm not going to make you roll anything. As soon as you will it, it happens. And like a piece of shredding paper, this realm pulls away from your vision and you are back in the dark. You can see your own letter floating there in front of you, written just minutes ago.
And I think she'll, still holding the emerald, just kind of leans up against the wall, the inside of his arm. That wave of adrenaline and relief going through her as she lets herself feel it. And smile to herself.
And as you're smiling in the dark, in a pocket dimension in Nova's arm, we're going to move away to Sir Riordan. So, Sir Riordan, you've been hiking away from the town of Dargard and your companions that were heading back towards the town, and you have with you in your arms the Golden General, Lorana, still unconscious and pale from Lord Soth's dark magic. Beside you, padding through the snow, is the Wolf Shadow, standing watch over the little girl, Lily. Lily's wearing the clothes of a young servant, but for a wooden sword that swings from a makeshift belt made of yarn. You notice that Lily stops for a moment and turns back towards the town, looking past you as you walk down this road.
Child, it is not our fight, it is... We must... The measure requires that we fall back. Measure requires.
Lily's breathing hard, and you can see that there's worry in her eyes. There's puffs of smoke coming out of her mouth with the cold of the air. She shifts her weight to the tips of her toes, looking up as though she were hoping to see something. And she starts stretching out a hand towards the town and then sort of closes her fist and presses it to her chest, and she looks up at you. She looks not at your eyes, but at your armor.
Yes. All right. Stay close to the wolf, child. It'll keep you warm.
And she blinks. She nods her head, and she sort of grabs a tuft of fur, Shadow's fur, with one of her hands. It continues to pad along, and she stutters but keeps step with it. You can hear somewhere behind you, beyond the sound of falling buildings and fire, a roar of a dragon. Back far in the distance. You can't see your companions anymore, just the smoke, just the edge of the town. Where's Riordan heading right now? What's he doing?
He's gonna fall back to the cabin because he knows that's the last place that they said to do so. It's what he has to do. and so he does it.
It's a long, painfully quiet walk. Feels longer than it actually is, those minutes moving away from town, back towards the cabin that's just off the side of the road. You can see it there through the tree line. Lily stops at the edge of the road, and I don't think you've heard her speak before. She doesn't speak often. But she calls out with a very tiny voice. Raccoon?
Stand watch for him, but do it inside. We will pray that they come soon.
She follows you. She's trying to look strong, but there are tears in her eyes rolling down her cheeks. Shortness of breath, and every few dozen steps or so, she has to stop and catch her breath. Sir Riordan, roll me a perception check.
I was going to say, can Riordan pick her up with Lorana?
Absolutely.
He would try to kind of shoulder her up literally to, like, around his pauldrons to see if she could just kind of, like, latch on up there. Almost just get her above. The armor's going to be cold as hell, but, you know, he's got a little bit of fur around the outside that she might be able to kind of pull up and...
Yeah, she does. Like, as you throw her up on your shoulder, she wraps her arms around your pauldrons. You can feel her shaking. You can hear the rattling of your armor with her on it. And you can also hear the chattering of her teeth. But she holds on tightly to you. And once you've got her settled there and you start to move back towards the cabin that's just in the edge of your view there, you see with a 13, from the shadow of a tree, a long shadow to your right, a glowing red orb appear.
He drops Lorana, he spins the girl off, and if he can put them behind a tree, he does so, and he looks at Lily. Watch for our friends, but stay here. And he pulls Absolution out.
And her teeth are chattering, but she nods her head furtively, and you pull Absolution out, and as you look back, it's 2 orbs now, and within the shadow of the tree, a darker shadow, a man-shaped shadow in armor.
Creeping through the shadows now, are we? Your dishonor is complete.
At your words, Lord Soth emerges, his black plate mail armor creaking as he steps through the snow. And he draws his greatsword, too, from over his back, his crimson eyes seeming to search for something, not finding it as you've hidden Lorana and Lily just out of view. His voice echoes back through his helm. Ah, the Phantom Knight. Of course, you would sneak into my home like a rat in the night and take what is mine.
Well, it's hard to argue with an expert in kidnapping.
Lorana's soul belongs to me. She is my destiny and I am hers. In time, she will be my queen, and you will be dust.
These all seem like things yet to pass. In other words, wishes of a madman.
Where is she? He takes a step forward, his armor creaks again.
You should know.
Sir Riordan, roll me an Arcana check.
Natural 20. And as Riordan is saying that, he has a certain, was it a star crystal, I believe, that prevents scrying. And he taps it lightly in the, not so Soth would notice, but just so he can feel its pressure, knowing that the good Lord can't see anything in this vicinity.
And with a natural 20, you know that's exactly what happened. And you also know that this amulet that you have belonged to Sabria before, that you found it at the tower, just one of her belongings. And Soth holds his blade in both hands and he steps towards you. And he says, I will give you one last chance.
And I will give you one as well. If you are so hell-bent on killing me, great Lord, then do it. And your wife will be lost to you forever, for I am the only one who knows where she is.
Roll me a... Intimidation or persuasion, your choice here.
Oh yeah, we're going to definitely go persuasion. And I'm going to, I think I have 5 inspiration.
You have 6 right now.
Well, I'm going to have 5, because I'm going to use it right now. 22.
Why can't I see her? Where have you hidden her?
You should know, great Lord of the land.
Is it that you wish to strike a bargain?
With you? What nation do you represent that appears on the list of honor?
I gave my life protecting this world.
And you spent every moment after disgracing that armor.
I am the Knight of the Rose. I am the Lord of this land. You are an invader, an outsider. Come to take what is mine.
You have it wrong. I am a knight. You pretend to be.
Very well then, knight. I will break your body and take from your mind what I need.
Ask yourself a question, Pretender. If you cannot take it while I'm alive, what makes you think you can have it when I'm dead? Be gone from here. Perhaps I will deal with you. Perhaps I will offer a bargain. At a later date. You're losing a war, I believe.
I never lose. And he takes another step forward.
He places absolution in his scabbard. I would like nothing more than to keep Lorana safe.
He takes another lumbering step towards you.
He steps to meet him, to close the gap, still hands up.
He grabs onto one of your pauldrons, unless you resist him.
Nope.
You feel yourself being lifted up into the air. He's not much taller than you, just a couple of inches, but a little taller. Your eyes are face to face.
I'm afraid if you had the half-elven Tannis to deal with, you might have more satisfaction. Instead, you have me.
You have dogged my steps. Enough. I will deal with you. If you have a bargain to offer, I give you this courtesy. Name it now, or face me and fall.
A bargain, then. 3 days. 3 days. And we'll decide who the lord of this land is. On my honor. If in 3 days you best me, I will tell you where Lorana went. Can you make the same promise? On your honor?
"3 days. Where will I find you?"
That's right. You have a problem with that. In 3 days, on my honor, you will be able to find me. That's 3 days, Lord Soth. 1 day for the crown, 1 for the sword, and 1 for the rose.
You can see those red orbs flare. This close, you can see the undead, mummified flesh that still clings to the skull beneath that great helm. There is no breath, but there are words that echo out from it. 3 days. On my honor. And then you will die.
So you say.
Soth drops you from where you're held up above several inches. You can tell that there's a little bit of a dent in your armor from how hard he was gripping you. He sheaths his sword, even as he takes 2 long steps back into the shadow of that tree. And you can no longer see his outline, his body. For a moment, you see those 2 glowing orbs, and then one by one, they are snuffed.
He will not turn back towards Lily and Lorana, and he will instead walk towards the door of the cabin, and when he opens it, he will chance a glance back and just hold up 1 gauntleted finger to wait. And he'll walk inside and close the door.
So you're inside the cabin now alone. Still cold, no fire burning here anymore. Nothing's changed since the last time. A small hearth, cauldron, now cold, of some sort of stew.
He will quickly start a fire. And then, when he knows he has no time left to continue this ruse, he will rush out, grab both Lorana and Lily, and bring them in.
You rush them inside, and Lily immediately gets by the fire. She's lived here in this area, and she's dealt with the cold, and she seems to very capably find a change of clothes that are much too large for her that she throws on, and she begins to warm herself. She even helps to stoke the fire. Where do you lay out Lorana?
as close to the fire as possible. Any bedding that he can pull down and get close to the area, he'll do so and layer on top of it. If Ghost is still here, he'll, motion for the wolf to warm itself as well. And he'll just tell Lily, once you're warm, find a blanket and wrap yourself in it. Get to the window and look for Rook. We will wait until dawn.
She mouths the word Rook. You can see the circle, the shape of her lips form. She nods her head dutifully. She grabs the little wooden sword and she draws it. She moves to the window and looks out and then looks back at you as though, did you mean this window?
Yes, that window. And I also apologize, Shadow. When I was a ranger, I had a wolf named Ghost. It's another lifetime ago.
Shadow whines a little bit, but he lumbers over towards the window where Lily is. And then you turn your attention to the fire and Lorana, and we're going to move back to what's happening with everyone else in Dargard. So, we have Nova and Honoria both moving away from town. Nova a little bit faster, Honoria a little bit old person-ier.
Yeah, trying to just,
There's nobody who's crossing you right now. Anybody who is in the town fighting is in the town. Anybody who's fled and survived has managed to already flee. So you don't see anybody on the road.
I've hit the ground, but I didn't say that I ended my fly spell personally. Otherwise, I would be dropping my companions out of the air.
So you're like floating?
Yeah, so can I float, and if I see someone who sees me, suddenly slow down? Because I am hastily looking for Nova. And
Power walking grandma hunch.
I'm going to say at this point, as you do that, you will see her. It takes you a little while to find her, but you'll see her moving through the trees. Nova, you would see Honoria as well, power walking grandma.
Pull back my hood. Nova!
Yes, it's me. Hi.
It is good to see you again.
Yeah, we didn't get eaten by a dragon, so that was good. Not our most tactical move, but there's time for improvement. Did Rook and Agatha get out of there? Did you know?
Rook and Agatha are doing completely well and fine, and there is nothing to worry about regarding them.
Oh, good. That makes me feel a lot better.
I'm so glad.
I mean, I knew they could take care of themselves, but, gotta be a little concerned about the top 5.
You're right, your friends list that you have put together. How intriguing, she says, kind of trying to fall in step beside Nova. I would like to apologize, Nova. I feel that during this time of great duress that you and I have not become as close as we could be.
Well, there's been a lot going on. I mean, I just broke out of prison twice this week, so, it's not an effort.
Most impressive. Did you enjoy the thieves' tools that I gave?
Oh, yeah, I've been practicing with them a little bit in my free time, which hasn't been much so far, but, once we get out of here, maybe once we get to, Malmané or whatever.
I can think of nothing more than wanting to get out of here and get all of our friends home and safe. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yeah. Well, people getting home safe is a good thing. Where do y'all live, by the way?
In a place far from here.
Oh, I'm pretty familiar with a lot of just the entire area. So,
I live in a different time, sweet Nova.
You what?
It is wizarding talk. So foolish.
So, do you have an evil twin here? Like, is that how that works? Like, alternate dimensions?
You are very intelligent. I would have an evil twin, however, having another version of myself here would cause a rip.
Oh, see, I had to kill him. I understand.
That would be most merciful of you, and I would be forever in your debt. Nova, you are so well-traveled, as you have just said.
I get around.
I want to go home. I want our friends to go home.
Are they all from the same place as you?
Yes.
Oh.
Dungeon Master. Have I picked up on any of the, what I'm gonna loosely label right now as flirtation between Raccoon and Nova?
I'll allow you to roll an insight check, and I'll let Lindsay.
You have an inspiration, right? I'm gonna use an inspiration on this.
You have 2.
Okay, that's a solid 12.
So, Lindy, do you think that with a 12, Nori has noticed the flirtation?
I mean, she doesn't hide it.
Flirt check successful.
I remember the first time I met our friends. We weren't together during this experience. Noria says, kind of looking over her shoulder, somewhere between making sure no one's listening to their private girl chat and also make sure they're not being hunted down by the evils that are currently around them. Reardon and Raccoon, both so manly. Fighting. Word soft.
Oh yeah, I mean, Brooke Owens like really strong. You don't know Reardon as much, but he's, you know, he seems alright. Real shady.
I owe my life to both of them, but Raccoon in particular. I want to make sure that I honor my pledge, that I will get him home safe, and anyone helping me get him home safe, well, they probably would be endeared to him as well.
Are you interested in him?
Oh no. My father has me betrothed to a handsome gentleman back home.
At this point, Nova wants to insight check.
I'd like to roll a deception if that
Do it. This is an opposed insight versus deception.
that one.
Oh.
No.
Well, you don't have to marry him if you don't want to, you know.
I don't, but I think we just need to spend more time together. His eating habits are a bit uncouth, but most importantly,
Well, you know, everybody's got to eat. Everyone eats differently.
food is so important.
It really
On the
is.
topic of getting back home, I know the way back home.
Oh,
But I know the way back home from a certain location, not from where we are now. And, well, I don't like admitting things I don't know. I'm a wizard, after all. And she kind of, with her robes, wanting to...
yeah, you did a lot of book learning then, didn't you?
I absolutely did some very good book learning. Very astute of you. I'm looking for somewhere known as the Lake of Sounds. And that will help get us all home. And, well, just between us girls, I'd be 100% willing to give you the credit for taking us back home.
I don't know if you knew this, but that place is really haunted.
It's a
Like-
good thing I'm a wizard of the black robes, and anything that is undead, with the exception of this evil lord, fears me.
Well, you know, I'm not afraid of anything, really, but I have it on very good authority. And I mean, number 4 on the list told me, no, but it's really haunted. Don't go down there. And so
Number 4, I'm sorry. As intelligent as I am, I'm not quite as good at
Oh,
list
number
making.
4 on the best friends list.
I I remember the best friends list, and who is number 4?
Well, I guess I can. I accidentally somehow muted myself. I don't know if that happened. Well, I guess I could tell you, but you gotta keep it on the DL.
If you don't want to, I would never want to put you in a difficult position.
Well, as long as I don't give away, I can tell you his name. That's all I can tell you. It's he goes by the Whispering Beast.
May I make a history check or knowledge check of some kind, Mr. Dungeon Master, to see if I recall this name anywhere?
Yeah, I'll let you do history.
15.
You don't remember him from your world, but something about the name sounds vaguely familiar. And what you'll recall is from a book that Albin Shortlock Hammerfist gave you. And that book was a book on the local history and government and legends of Nightland, this Nightland in this world. And I'll say you can't remember that much. You would have to take some time to go back and read, but you would remember that the Whispering Beast is some sort of urban legend, some sort of local boogeyman.
Honoria, tight lip, smiles and nods, dismissing in her own mind that anything Nova is saying right now is absolute fucking Kender garbage. But the Whispering Beast.
Oh yeah. He lives out in the desert. He's got a whole bunch of friends that I know. He's very popular in certain circles.
Well,
but if you really wanted to go there, we could ask him if it's cool. If the hauntings maybe died down a little bit. I mean, he's on the way.
do I know of any other lakes or bodies of water in this world right now?
Well,
Never mind, I don't have the spell slot available. Fuck.
Legend lore.
I'll tell you this, regardless of the spell slot availability, the only lake that you would really know of, that the region, the Vingard River feeds into a large body of water called the Lake of Kalaman. And the city of Kalaman, which would be sort of the capital of this area, usually rests right on the lake, but you do know that the city is basically a necropolis in this world. It's filled with undead. You've been told that all of the creatures who go undead, who rise from the grave, are drawn like a pilgrimage to the city where they just kind of exist. That's the only lake that you're aware of.
My patience is pretty much run out at this point. I get down on one knee and kind of look at Nova. Would you like to see a magic trick?
I mean, I don't know many people who can do magic, so I wouldn't say no. But isn't this the time? I mean, we're kind of running from a dragon right now.
It'll only take a second. Just look into my eyes.
A good 6 seconds?
Perhaps about exactly that. Saya
Okay.
Paru Bahan. And I cast Minor Eyes of Time because I'm fucking sick and tired of talking to a goddamn Kender for more than what is 10 minutes in Kender time. It has to be like I am a time traveling wizard, but holy shit, I have never felt a longer eternity in my life.
All right,
What
go ahead
could
and throw the spell up there.
What could I possibly say to get Nova to tell me where the fuck this lake is?
I mean, she basically said she'd take you there, but we gotta stop by your friend first.
I don't want to stop by your friend though. Your imaginary boogeyman friend that doesn't exist in Honoria's mind.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any future in the next 6 seconds, anything that Honoria could ask that would get Nova to give her the location instead of following her?
With the exception,
I mean, that's pretty top secret information in her organization. Like, only probably 3 or 4 people know about it.
in your organization.
Mm-hmm.
Ha! Has she ever mentioned her organization, or is there any way I could fake or lie that I am secretly a part of that?
I don't, you could try to lie. I can't tell you how successful it may or may not be.
You do know her organization from last session, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. She did talk
What
about
session
it.
was that?
White Rose.
The White Rose.
She's mentioned the White Rose.
I start speaking in Kender, as I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
The White Rose. Her
Yep.
organization, which I didn't
They're
know
pretty
would
great.
exist in this world.
I've been with them for 30 years now. It's been a while.
I am still an initiate. I am-
Oh, well, when we get back to the desert, maybe they'll put you in my unit then.
Honoria just shakes her head, realizing this line of thought isn't gonna fucking work. And realizes that the expression grasping at straws is more like grasping at smoke in the
But
air.
I mean, if it'll get you guys and we're going home, we just gotta run it by my good buddies who are at the tip top a bit there.
A single tear runs from the inner corner of Honoria's face instead of the outside, because she's not crying out of emotion. She's blinking back tears of frustration and anger, and tries to put on as sad a face as possible to perhaps mask that fact, but she just nods.
And I'll say this too, you've looked into every possible 6 seconds, and that's a lot of frustrating 6 seconds, because in every possible future, Honoria could...
A lot
I
of
can
pictures
tell-
where she
I can-
sorts out other things, but you can't get that one specific thing.
I have never been as frustrated as a player and a character. I almost wish... Nope. That I had an extra 12 seconds, because I feel like it's one of those things where if I had an extra 3 seconds, I might be able to bullshit my way through, but it's just not happening right now. So that tear falls. She reaches out a hand to place it on Nova's shoulder, not in a comforting way, though it may feel that way. Honoria kind of wants to grab Nova's shoulder and do one of those down on you, and then like pulls it back, trying to pretend that she's respecting personal space, and just...
It's okay, we'll head straight to the desert after we get up the Dragonlance from Malmany, which, you know, they're going to be really happy if we manage to get that out of there. And then we'll take you right to the secret hideout in the desert. And then from there, we could go to the secret lake.
Lake of Sounds.
Yep, the Lake of Sounds. That's it. Super spooky haunted lake.
Okay, both of you roll
Look at me.
perception checks.
She's just like, you can meet Guppy the Goldfish. He's number 9 on the list.
I am placed lower than a fucking goldfish. Okay. That's a strong 7, Dawn.
Strong 11.
I'll give it to Nova then. Nova, as you're talking, you guys have been floating, flying away from the town as this conversation's going on, and you see through the tree line that same cabin that you'd stayed at before. You can see that there's a fire burning through the window, and you can't quite make out the face, but it looks like there's a face in the window looking out towards the road through the tree line.
There's someone in the house. And I hit the deck. It's probably a poof of snow.
I feel like Honoria, who normally would not hit the deck, is trying to be so falsely in tune with Nova's emotions and her manipulation that she would very uncharacteristically hit the deck as well, and the wind would come out of her almost as if she's been physically hit, because she's never once in her life done that. So, okay.
So as both of you jump down to the ground, the wind knocked out of Honoria, we're going to go back a little bit in time and back to the town of Dargard, back to Rookone and back to Agatha. So we left you off. Rookone, you have Tanis Half-Elven in one hand, held up in one arm. You have Agatha in the other, and Agatha was kind of fighting for a little bit. as you lifted her up and started to fly out of town with her. 2 dragons on your tail, an ancient red, but a little closer, Tanis's dragon, a younger copper dragon. And I had rolled a natural 20 before, and what you see is you happen to glance back over your shoulder, Rookone, and Agatha, you'd see this because I think you're turned away, you're still facing the town, is there's a large bolt that looks like a large wooden spear or harpoon, but glows with some sort of arcane energy, and it shoots up from the base of the town, like from the street level, and it strikes the ancient red dragon right in the side. The dragon tumbles and crashes into that church that you were hiding behind, and then it whips around and it lands in the middle of the town, and this tension turns away from you. You're still being chased by the younger copper dragon, however, and we're gonna go Rookone, Agatha, and then the dragon. We're still in initiative.
Okay, so he's got, in this time that has lapsed, has the condition of Stone Man gotten more stony?
We're going back to like the moment after we left.
Okay.
But he is, you did watch part of his flesh continue to turn to stone. It's almost reached one of his eyes now.
I'm still, okay. So in order to maintain the rage, I'm going to dash, right? And if I dash, I can use Goring Rush as a bonus action. Correct?
Yeah.
On Tanis, who is half rock. So I can, so like that's the attack I want to use to maintain my rage. Does that make sense? You can't
goring attack. You have to goring attack a target that's a certain distance away from you. So you have Tanis in your arm.
Okay. I was trying to get around that rule set because I don't think the rule set says anything against that particular thing. It's just anytime I make an attack. Let me link it up.
For you to use Goring Rush, you have to like rush and gore the target. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and say that's the thing. If you want to attack Tanis, you can do so with a regular Horns attack, but you have to spend an action to do it.
Oh, fine. Yeah, I'll do that. Out of sheer anger and rage, squeezing Agatha and the Stone Man, whose name I do not know yet, immensely tight. The fury emanates out of me, and I'll bash him with the side of my head.
All right. I'll give you advantage on this since he is restrained. You've got him in your arms.
Okay.
You crash your head. You crack right into him. You see blood trickling out from part of his cheek where it's not yet turned to stone. All right.
And then continuing away from the dragon.
All right.
Both of them in tow.
Agatha, you see, or you feel at least, Rookone crack his head into the side. You hear a small sound escape the man who's turning to stone's lips, and you see what I described before, the ancient red dragon temporarily distracted by an attack from the streets, and then the copper dragon right on your heels as you're flying away. You're still in Rookone's arms. You do still have the fly spell up currently, so it's your turn.
The fuck are you doing, Rookone? Dragon's gonna kill it. She's gonna just bash him with that elbow because she wants out. She's done. He's now completely lost the plot. He's hurting the person that we just kidnapped. The dragon's gonna now eat us because it wants its rider back. She wants out of this grapple. She's done. This is now insanity.
Rookone, do you try to keep hold of her?
Yep.
All right, give me opposed athletics checks here.
All right. Are we allowed to spend inspiration on PvP?
I I'll. Sure.
I don't
Yeah.
mind either way.
Yeah.
Great.
That's nuts. I mean, I
Brooke
gotta.
wins. Brooke's got the higher number.
Yeah. I'll. Here's what I'll do because you got a natural 20. You can't quite escape his grasp. You almost get away from him.
Can I still elbow him?
You still elbow him, totally elbow him, right in the ribs. But I'm not, because you got a natural 20, I'll allow you to take another action. So you freed up your movement a little bit. You can't get away from him this turn, but you can do something else if you'd like.
I want to buy us some time. I'm going to cast a fog cloud on us in an attempt to obfuscate us from the dragon that's following and buy time to figure out what the hell is going on.
All right, go for it.
So pop that.
Cool. So this cloud appears around you, 20 feet long. You're gonna explode out of the other side of it here in a moment, but for a second, you're partially covered from the view of the dragon.
The dragon just wants him back and you're trying to kill him. I don't understand. She's still like struggling, but obviously can't break through that arm.
Rokon, what are you doing?
With the smallest amount of words possible.
The dragon's not his anymore.
And
What do you
then
mean?
Soth, his eyes.
The red dragon's fallen, you should know that. Won't be down for long though.
He'll know I tried to save him.
And right as you say that, as you're having this brief conversation, you've exploded through the other side of the cloud. Right before you get through the cloud, though, the dragon tries to rake at you with its bite and its claws through the cloud. It will have disadvantage on these attacks because you are partially obscured. So here's its bite. This is going to be against Rokon. So that'll be a 13. Great. So you feel like the snap of its jaws right behind you, but it just barely misses you. And then it's going to rake twice at Agatha with its claws. So a 22 and a 15, Agatha.
Both hit.
All right. So that'll be 32 slashing damage.
Okay.
Rokon, it's your turn again.
Okay, so how fast is that dragon moving in pursuit?
Roll me a perception check.
We'll do it and make sure it's not performance this time. 22.
It definitely is faster than you were able to fly. It's definitely faster than you.
Okay. How high am I off the ground? And first off, how close am I to the cabin? What's the general distance from where we're at right now? I know we're outside the
You're
town.
a ways away from the cabin. You just got outside of town. You're about 25 feet up off the ground.
Okay. Now, how much in terms of action economy? I've been trying to stay pretty low to the ground. Can I? How high am I off the ground right now?
Like 25 feet.
Okay. In terms of action economy, what would it cost me to go 5 feet, drop them, and then go back up to face the dragon.
Dropping them, it's not going to cost you an action.
Okay.
Dropping them is the easiest thing to do.
All right, so I would like to drop them both on the ground and then back up.
Agatha's flying too, so she can't really be dropped. You can let go of her.
Okay. I would like to, all right, 5 feet, drop Tanis, and then back up, charge the dragon for my main action, which I would use how much of the dragon would be in the cloud, in the fog cloud? Would there be parts sticking out?
About half of it, yeah.
So there would be parts sticking out.
That's right.
What parts would be sticking out?
Part of its hind, its tail, its maw is just through the edge of it.
All right, so I want to drop those two, turn around, run back in with its maw just out of the fog cloud, and use my dwarven shield and punch it directly into the face.
Okay, so as you fly away to drop Tanis, it does get an attack of opportunity. Its opportunity attack is a disadvantage, but it's 24.
Oh, that hits.
So you feel the snapping of its jaws again, but this time it gets you right in your back. It tears a piece of your flesh out, and you can feel an arc of electricity shooting through its maw, through your bones. For a second, you almost have no choice but to drop Tanis and let go of Agatha. That'll be 16 piercing and 18 lightning damage.
Okay, both of that is halved.
Okay.
And I've been drinking, so a little help.
It's a total of, 34 halves, so 17.
Nailed it. Thanks, Don.
But you are able to fly back in and attack it right in its face, if you'd like.
Yeah, let me use that shield right in its mouth.
Go for it.
Okay, let me link that thing. And the it is 8, so 17 strength DC.
It fails, so go ahead and roll your damage.
All right. Oh, hold on.
Cool. So you strike it right in the face with the shield, and there's an echo of sound as there's the reverberation of metal against the maw of the dragon, and that force blasts you backwards and blasts the dragon backwards, and it tumbles and spins and falls and crashes into the ground. It'll take 8 falling damage on top of the 18 damage you dealt it, and it's going to make another saving throw here. It fails.
Does it get 2 because it took 2 types of damage? Falling damage?
Yeah, that's a good point. It fails again.
Try.
So it strikes the ground, and for a moment it looks dazed. It's starting to pull back up, but it is stunned until the end of its next turn.
How many inspiration do I have right now?
You have 2.
Well, fart. I'm gonna hold on to them then and wait for so that's all my movement. That's everything I can.
That's
do.
everything. Yeah.
So I'm gonna stand gazing down at it, and I'm going to flex like a motherfucker.
Agatha, this is what's going on around you. It's your turn.
I'm gonna run over and help Rook. I want to insight this dragon, see if I can see what he could see about this thing being possessed.
Sure, I'll let
Not
you
so
roll.
much that she doesn't believe him, but she needs to know before she... Insight. Oh yeah.
You can give me an Arcana check, actually,
Okay.
since you're proficient.
10.
There's definitely some sort of enchantment on the dragon. You can see, even from a distance, that his eyes are glowing red, which is not the right color for a copper dragon, but you're not sure exactly what the nature of the enchantment is.
The ground is snowy, right?
It is.
Alright, so I'm going to cast Dragon's Breath on myself and give myself cold, which is kind of cold. And what she wants to try and do is to build up ice over the dragon. She's gonna blast it with chill and try and restrain it. It's a tiny bit of a stretch, but...
No, I'm interested in this. So, let's see. It is stunned. So it should... It automatically fails strength and dexterity saving throws. So I think Cone of Cold is dexterity, right?
Yeah, it would be it's Dragon's Breath.
Dragon's Breath, yeah. So you're able to hit it. So go ahead and throw that up in there into the chat.
Right. So that's what the spell looks like. It's called Elemental Cry, but it's Dragon's Breath for anyone else. And it would be 3d6 cold damage.
Okay.
I think I can do this now.
13. It does seem to freeze its joints, and it's starting to kind of stretch against where the ice is formed around its elbows, around its feet, around its maw, but it's definitely slowed down.
And Rook just sees Agatha weaving dwarven words together to summon these elements to her, and then this explosion of just frost and ice and frustration, just trying to take control of the situation.
All right. The dragon's stunned for its turn, so it's back up to Rookon. Rookon, you see Tennis laying on the ground, frozen, his arms like this, still turning to stone slowly. But it's your turn.
So this dragon's smaller. Like, what's the size of this dragon?
This is a huge dragon.
All right. So since it just ended its turn stunned, what does it have any effects from Agatha's spell on him?
It's no longer stunned. It's breaking through the ice. We'll see how it does once it gets back to its turn.
So you're telling me,
purposes, you've slowed it down, not stopped it.
But so you're telling me I can't, even though I am a medium-sized creature, the maw of this thing, I can't try to keep its mouth shut.
It's actually a large creature, not huge. I had to double check that. So
I can do that. I can definitely grapple that. So I want to fly down to it and grapple, put its the movable part of its maw, like the front part, in like an underhook, like you would if you were trying to perform a DDT on someone, for all you professional wrestling people, and pinch my leg up and flex my lat and get my arm down over the top of its snout, to try to restrain it from using its face for a weapon.
Okay, so you want to make an opposed athletics check.
I do.
And I'm going to give it disadvantage on its roll because it's still recovering from being iced.
And I have advantage naturally for raging.
Yeah, so... Yeah, you're able to grapple it.
All right, and then I want to... with the remaining attack that I have with my free arm, punch it in its eyeball with an unarmed attack.
Go for it.
Stick it directly to Soth.
That's a hit.
And then with a free action,
I'm trying to save your rider.
try to communicate with it through might and domination.
You strike the dragon in the eye, and it breaks away from its icy holds, but you're still holding onto its neck tightly. It opens its maw, and lightning begins to crackle out of its maw, and then that red color fades away from its eyes and it turns copper again, and you can feel it stopping to struggle beneath you. Instead, it slowly lowers, it lets its neck go limp in your arms, and it looks beyond you, something in the middle of the road.
All right, so can I, like, is there a sort of wisdom check I would have to make to see that it's not hostile anymore? Or do I...
You can do insight check, yeah.
Oh,
I'll give you advantage on this.
15.
Yeah. Yeah, you're pretty sure that whatever enchantment was holding on to the dragon went away when you punched it in the eye.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to let go, and I'm going to end my rage and then, like, point at the man turning to stone. Like
the dragon?
Yeah, like referencing the dragon, like, this happened, can you help?
You feel the thump, thump, thump as the dragon steps past you and worms its way to the red-haired, red-bearded man who's laying on the snow. You can see now, exposed through one side of his hair, that he has the pointed ears of an elf. He looks human. It's rare to see an elf with a red beard, but here at least there's some sort of other racial element to him exposed. His eyes are still bulging in his head, and the dragon presses its muzzle up against him, sort of rubs against the side of his face, and it lays down sort of like a dog would next to a sick master, and it just kind of watches him.
Agatha would have been moving towards Tanis as well, having seen him dropped and not understanding what necessarily is going on, to check him out. She'll obviously be more cautious as the dragon approaches, but seeing the stone and having the kind of elemental magic that she draws upon, I think she would be trying to think of any way she could bend her arcana to pull out what's happening, because this isn't a natural thing. People don't just turn to stone naturally. I think the closest thing she has that she would try, even though, like, in the mechanics it wouldn't work, is she would try and bend her absorb elements to pull the stone out of him and into her. It mechanically doesn't, that isn't how the spell works, but that is what she would be trying to do, is pull that stone that is so core to what a dwarf is. We are all about stone, and pull it elementally out of her and into her sword, calling on the runes and the magic.
So I find this really interesting. Go ahead and roll me an Arcana check.
Okay. I'm gonna spend inspiration because I don't have a great Arcana score.
Okay.
15.
Go ahead and put your spell up in roll 20 for everybody.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say that this works because I think this is a lot of fun. So as you try to absorb using your sword as a focus, that energy, that magic, the stone begins to fade away from his skin and turns back to flesh. And then you feel your stone or your skin begin to change. You can feel your joints lock up. It's working, but it's quickly with a 15 out of your control. You are affected by the flesh to stone spell, just like he was before. And the difference is this time, instead of it playing out over the series of multiple turns, it's all going to happen almost at once for you. So I need a series of Constitution saving throws. For you to break the spell, you need to succeed on 3 Constitution saving throws before you fail 3 Constitution saving throws.
Is there any way I can like assist? Ooh.
There is a way, but I need you to wait like about possibly 45 seconds.
Roko, describe to me what you're doing as you see Agatha's skin begin to turn to stone.
She rolled crit. So I see her like sucking the stone with her energy like through her body and start to share and take the condition from somebody else. And then he goes into like shock and panic mode. So his rage has ended and he's suddenly stupid. He's suddenly a baby. And he tries to shake her. He's like, no, you can't do this. You cannot. You cannot. Listen to me. We need you. And just try to convince her for once with words instead of actions.
And just over and over, she's chanting in Dwarven the words of this spell to keep pulling it because she sees it's working, even as she feels the element consuming her. Spinel Kasa. Just over and over, trying to focus. They did something, she doesn't know what it is, but
so
now just focusing on stopping the spell. So that's one.
You're fighting against it, and with a crit, just like with death saving throws, we'll call it, well, not just like with death saving throws, but we'll call it crit 2 successes, like critical failure, 2 failures. So you feel for a second like you're holding this spell at bay. It's very powerful and very ancient, and as you're connected to it through absorb elements, you know intrinsically that this spell was cast by the dragon itself.
Mm-hmm. $25.
And right as you make that connection, the stone fades away. You feel your joints unlock. You almost fall to the ground, but you're strong enough to hold yourself up. And there you see panicking Rookone standing in front of you. Rookone, you see the stone on her face fade back as she pushes away the spell. And laying on the ground, dazed, eyes rolled into the back of his head, is the half-elven bearded man. The dragon stands up and looks at you, and there's something intelligent in its eyes, something grateful.
Don't worry, Rook. I might be stone-headed, stone-hearted, but I'm not going to be stone today. Let's go.
Rukon stops everything for a moment and just picks you up and embraces you and hugs you and just squeezes the shit out of you.
And I think she hugs you back, and there's a few tears that just like go into your probably already damp fur. Okay, we gotta go.
He looks over at Tanis and the dragon.
So we have a rendezvous point. Follow us.
And he suggests that to the dragon and Tanis, whose name he does not know.
Tanis, slowly his eyes come back into focus, and he pushes himself back up to his feet, still very stiff, and he puts his arms around the side of the dragon's neck and looks to you, and he says, "Who are you?"
That doesn't matter now. But we're against the same thing. Follow us. We can rest and find another plan.
Very well. Thank you. And he pulls himself onto the back of the dragon. Straps are broken, so he just holds on to the back, and the dragon begins to lumber. It doesn't fly. Instead, it moves down the road, following you. You're heading away from the town?
Towards the cabin, yeah.
Okay. Before we rendezvous at the cabin, we go back inside. The arm of Nova to that blank black pocket dimension where Avrin is. Avrin, you can still hear the cries in the distance here and there. Sounds like dying people, burning, a roar.
She doesn't know what to do other than wait. She knows that the sunlight is now a danger to her. So would a dragon. Sense of helplessness, and she's not sure whether she wants to try to dive into the emerald again.
You can feel it buzzing through the cloth.
Yeah, for a moment she thinks about it, not just for the trying to see if she can reach the undead army again, but also there's a few lingering questions in her mind to ask someone, but whoever knows if it's real or not, she doesn't. All she knows that is real is that she's in here, in this space. The sounds of death happening. And she's alone.
And she's very hungry. Roll me a charisma saving throw.
Yeah. 18.
You haven't eaten since your adventure in Harthalen. It's been a week without food. And even though you're focused and you're able to hold on to your sense of who you are, even in this place, that hunger is growing. And with it is a kind of madness that you're not used to. You have control of it now, but keeping control of it is exhausting. Avrin, you will suffer one level of exhaustion now.
Yeah, and I think she just keeps telling herself, not them, not them, not them, over and over again.
There's nobody here in this place to argue with you except for yourself.
She knows that when she gets out of here, if she does, who knows, she'll just have to keep her distance. Doesn't want her friends to be part of the collateral damage again. And just repeating to herself, not them, not them, not them.
You hold on. You continue to whisper your mantra in the dark. We move back now to Sir Riordan inside the cabin. And what's he doing now that he's got the fire started, that he's got Lorana laid down by the fire?
He's just alternating time between checking on Lily at the window, looking for his own friends, checking on Lorana, and having this incredible internal debate about why he's not engaged with them, trying not to think about, because it is against the measure to be a dour night. So he is trying not to think about the possibility of them all falling, but that's all he's thinking about.
as this is sort of weighing down on you, you glance back once towards the window, and you see that Lily has looked away from the window, and she's looking at you and sort of nodding.
Do you see them? And he goes forward.
Raps on the window, and she points through it towards something in the snow.
He will go and kind of interpose himself between, just get a little bit of, his arm up to kind of like, parent seatbelt Lily in case something's out there. And then he's going to peek out as well.
Nova and Honoria, roll me a stealth check.
There's Honoria.
You see Nova too. Yeah, you actually see them
Light
both.
just reflecting off my arm.
That's right. They're laying in the snow, like belly in the snow.
He opens the door and rushes out to them, turning to Lily. Watch her. And he points to Lorana.
She steps towards the fire, stands in front of Lorana, and holds just in front of her wooden sword.
And he'll rush out to both of them.
I think Nova's seeing that it's Riordan and not like some Death Knight or Soft pops up and he's like, "Oh, good, you made it."
Good, you're fine. Honoria.
Yes, she says, standing, leaning on her staff, pretending that she didn't just have the wind knocked out of her, and that she's totally fine. How fare you, knight?
I am fine. There's a fire going. And he indicates the cabin.
Oh, good. Lily okay?
She is well.
Good. Avrin should be just fine, too. I kind of pat the arm.
Yes.
I nod, but I am staring at Riordan like he's in one of my earliest elementary books, as though I am searching for some meaning inside of the words that are hidden from everyone else. He is acting insanely calm for who he is. May I please roll an insight check to
See if you can peel back the onion.
Yeah, to be an asshole, peel back the onion both.
Yeah. Why do you do that? Brooke,
I would like to, after I've seen that roll, I would like to use an advantage, Dungeon Master. No.
Oh.
I love this interpersonal PvP we have today. Yeah, he's a mask, man. He is. You cannot get beneath whatever's going on with Sir Riordan right now.
I think because of the natural 20 and how hard Honoria is staring at him, that he might even be able to glean the insanely obvious that is happening right now. But an almost imperceptible nod of her head as if she approves whatever emotional state Riordan is in right now. To the fire.
Rookone.
Safe.
Agatha.
They should be on their way. They got a little caught up with that dragon stuff, but after the fire breath hit and I fell, I think they were fine. They're both tougher than I am, so.
I found the gateway home.
Good. Is it within 3 days' ride?
I imagine so. But that is up to our dear Nova.
It is within 3 days ride, but there wouldn't be room for any pit stops, if that makes sense.
What, 3 days? I mean, we couldn't stop for bathroom breaks, if you know what I mean. We just have to go.
Because
that
of
sounds like a
Riordan's
plan.
natural 20, I am just going to assume that he is finally respecting time and the idea of time. And so Honoria nods sagely at him as though perhaps he is shedding some of his fine knightly armor and accepting her wizarding ways. Good.
Yeah, we're not gonna be able to get that Dragonlance from Almanae though. But we can go straight there.
I pay attention to so many of the words that you say, Nova. And I hope that you will not doubt me in my questioning. And when you say Dragonlance...
It's for dragon jousting.
Did I mention the fire inside?
I say...
yeah.
At this time I will, if Nova will allow me, gently drape an arm on her shoulder.
The person.
Okay, good. But it's still gonna have it's gonna be one of those gentle lay across your arms, but still, I don't know how to properly veil this, directing movements, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gentle, and if you tried to pull away in any such fashion, she would immediately let you go, but still wants you to believe that you are walking your own path.
Mm-hmm.
So, Nova, roll me an insight check.
Mm-hmm. How many advantages do I have? Yeah, I'll use one. Just cause. Feeling 11. Didn't do me any good, but it's
Super
fine.
11.
Double 11s.
Let's call this a deception check from Honoria. There's definitely something. Honoria's definitely being weird. She's definitely being weird.
Can I
She's
roll
trying
an
real
insight?
hard for that open number
Yeah,
6, but
Sir Riordan can roll an insight too.
no.
Did I mention the fire inside?
Oh, we can let Averin out of the arm too if we close the windows.
You have... Of course you do.
Because the sun's out.
Honoria is going to beeline inside after she says that, as that has crossed the threshold of bullshit she's willing to put up with for the night, and is going to excuse herself for a couple seconds to go into the house, past the fire, past Lorana, into whatever bedroom there is available, and if she has to pick up her black robes and scream into them silently in one of those frustrations, that's exactly what she's going to do, and then come out and pretend like everything is perfectly fine.
And it's a small house. You all obviously heard.
And I think as she's screaming, Nova's gonna be like, she's acting real weird. You notice that? I don't even know her that long. She's real.
Riordan would kneel down to Lily, as not disrespectful to Nova, but allowing her to continue to talk, as he looks at Lily. Watch Lorana. Don't let anyone wake her until I'm there.
She nods her head quickly, and then flashes just a little bit of a side smile at Nova in the room.
I give her a little wink.
She gives you a wink back, but it's like a child's misplaced attempt to mirror an adult. It's more like she blinks, but she stands her ground. She stands firm. Sir Riordan, are you going elsewhere?
I was told that Rook and Agatha were on their way momentarily, so he will look for pursuit, get ready to sound an alarm from like the threshold. Perhaps he'll stand in the same shadow that Soth appeared from.
Okay.
I'm gonna close all the curtains in the house, and then take off my arm. Reach and think about Averin, and cast reduce on her again, so I can pull her out.
Okay. So Averin, a huge hand reaches through the dark and grabs you. You've been there for an indeterminate amount of time from your perspective. You're not sure how long, so it's probably pretty sudden as this hand just appears out of nowhere and wraps around you.
Yeah, I think there's an instinct of like of like murder for 1 second, but I think she kind of puts together quickly what's happening, and before she pulled out, she's gonna grab the parchment that she had written a note on.
Okay. Is she holding on to it, or is she like pocketing it?
Yeah, she's pocketing it.
Okay. So Nova, you
Pull her out.
right out of your arm.
I got sitting down upon the arm between my legs so I can reach into my hand and be like, all right, now how was that? Is there anything I can do to make it more comfortable in there for you? You okay?
I'm all right, thank you.
Okay.
You have a lot of things in there.
I'll give her a little hug. She's my size right now.
Yeah, I don't.
Put her back on.
Aaron freezes up when you hug her, as if she's not sure what to do with it. Yeah, kind of. I think as soon as she's let go, I'll give Nova a nod. And knowing how hungry she is, she's going immediately to the edge of the room, as far away from people as possible.
Nova will explain, we're reconvening here. Agatha and Rook should be here soon, so I figured you might want some time outside of the arm a little bit while we talk and plan things out for the next step.
Right, yes. Probably important things to do.
You sure there's nothing else you want me to put in here for you? Like some paper, coloring, utensils, maybe some books?
I'm not sure anything that you can find, but thank you.
I'll see what I can do, and I'll start rummaging through the house again.
So as you go rummaging, Nova, Avren, you can see the pulsing of something beneath people's skulls. It's like a heart beating from their temple. You can hear it too from everyone in this room, Lorana, Lily, even Sir Riordan, who stepped outside. You can hear it through the walls, just a little fainter.
Yeah. She's going to turn herself around. She's going to face a corner, a wall, and just like try, and now not speaking it out loud, but that same mantra in her head over and over again, trying to drown out the sound of what's enticing her.
For now, it works. Meanwhile, Sir Riordan, outside, you see down the road the approach in the distance. You can tell the shape of Agatha and Ruko, and the fly spell having faded, walking the rest of the way at this point. And there too is that large copper dragon, the younger dragon, and wrapped around its neck, you see Tanis Half-Elven. They're ways away. You're not sure if they've seen you yet, as you're kind of hiding in that shadow. You see them on the road.
For a moment, he stays in the shadow. And then he steps out and makes his presence known to them.
Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
I'll take advantage on this. What's it?
Okay.
What's this against, Don?
Who knows?
Well, I mean, I've got things that help me against that. Is it charm or madness?
It is not charm or madness.
All right, then an inspiration it is.
Okay.
16.
As you step out of the shadow towards the road and you see Rukon again, and you see Agatha again, there's a building anxiety inside. It's hard to parse and understand. It's irrational. And then it comes to you. fragmented at first, then all at once, like a river rushing through your mind. Sir Riordan, you remember the life of another Sir Riordan. You remember a time where Agatha died, betrayed by Fistandantilus. You remember a time where Tanis Half-Elven did not survive the town of Dargard. A different time, and you're aware that it's your life and not your life, but you remember it from your perspective in that time. Everything that happened from now until when Fistandantilus went through time and dragged you back. You remember the start of the end of the world from your time. You remember Raceland, the wizard, taking your memories and storing them in a crystal. You remember the beginning of the end of the world and everything that caused it, all of the decisions you made and your companions made. It comes to you at once.
He would probably... How far did his memories go?
They go up until the time where Raceland took Riordan's memories and implanted them into the time crystal. So a few months after Fistandantilus's ascension to godhood. They don't go all the way to the end of Riordan's life in the future.
Okay. Well, knowing what he knows now and seeing both Agatha and even Tanis, he will allow himself a smile.
And as you smile there, making yourself known to Agatha and Rokon, Tanis's face is different. It drops, his jaw is open. He has a dumbfounded look in his expression. And as all of the companions reunite, that is where we're going to end our session for tonight.
Excuse me?
Yep, that's where we're wrapping it up for tonight. So
I thought we had another 45 minutes. No, I'm not complaining. It's a perfect place to end the night. But you are manipulative, sir.
What?
He's a storyteller, madam.
Yes, and I reserve the right to be stroppy right now because...
So stroppy. So let's go around as we do. Everyone, how you're doing, anything you want to share, whatever's coming up next for you. Also, everybody, go ahead and roll me some charisma saving throws for corruption.
Hi.
Ah, jeez. Okay.
We're gonna make one of these. I'm gonna go chaotic evil, guys. Have be fun.
So, well, that could have been worse. So Agatha, Avrin, and Nova,
Yep.
you all gain 1 corruption. Does that put anybody over? No, not yet?
Not yet.
All right.
7 more, Don. 7 more.
5 more.
Yeah, I'm actually going to give Avrin I'm going to double it for Avrin because she got a natural 1 and because she's... It's not true. You don't deserve it.
5
But
more
I'm
till
gonna-
chaotic evil.
2 corruption for Avrin. Yeah, that's it. Let's go around and say how we're all doing, and let's go ahead and start with Avrin.
Boy, man, I was not involved in that fight at all, either of them, and I was so stressed experiencing it secondhand. But it was so much fun watching it. You guys had such awesome moments tonight. It's always so much fun. Just being here and seeing the backroom chat and all that stuff. And yeah, I got to flip off Lord Sauce, so checking that off the bucket list. Lots of fun there. Yeah. I'm really excited to see what happens next. Lots of drama, I'm sure. But until then, you guys find me over on Twitter at KenS. Best way to figure out what I'm doing. Come over the internet, doing social role-playing things, whether that's streaming, writing, or shouting into the void. Next thing. This weekend and on Monday, catch us over on Salty Sweet Games, my channel with Lauren, who is also part of the team here on Tales from the Grim, because it's her birthday, and we're doing a couple streams, so we're going to be doing a video game thing and a one-shot thing. I think we're doing a Last for the Awful Sea, and Summer's jamming that, so it's going to be super dope. So come and hang out with us over there. Yeah, this was super fun.
And I loved this episode and 2 episodes ago. I loved all of Avrin's stuff in the arm. I thought that was probably the best inside arm role play I've ever seen. I'm just gonna call
you
it.
You have a bar there, Don?
We do have a bar. It's about this high right now, so.
Jesus fucking Christ.
All right. Tia, it's your turn. What's up?
When I said I thought we had 45 minutes left, time zones suck. And I get so sucked into this role play that I cherish every minute that we have. So I'm like, yes, we still have 45 minutes left before we have to stop. And then I realized it is actually 20 past 11 for the game, and that sucks. Favorite moment of tonight? I'd actually have to say me and Nova's roleplay. Being selfish, I try not to make my favorite moments about me, but there was some good stuff happening. Greg has been gracious enough to allow me to do a giveaway on his channel. This is an R.A. Salvatore book. It's an uncorrected proof. You cannot buy this, and this book does not come out until September. You have probably about the next 15 seconds to enter the raffle, which by the time I'm done talking, should be enough time to enter. And if this will ship anywhere worldwide. However, if you live in somewhere fucking crazy like Australia or whatever, I hope that you will give me the time to raise some money to cover the shipping costs to you. Thank you. And Greg, take it away with the giveaway.
Sure thing.
I didn't give him any warning for, so it's
I'm ready.
Okay.
Here's the winner.
I have a Black Mod Stanter because it's completely fair and normal giveaway, except for Greg because it's his channel and that would seem kind of rigged.
Sure. Okay, here we go.
Charlie! Congratulations! You're gonna have to wait a while until I can ship to London.
And you survived.
Okay. Congratulations, and I will give you the one
Thank
that
you.
does not have Taco Bell stains on it because I'm a very nice person. I will not sign it for you.
Anything else you want to do? Anything else you want to talk about that's coming up for yourself?
No, actually,
Cool.
except for the fact that I'm trying to raise emergency funds for Gen Con. I didn't think that I was gonna go, and I tried to write it off as selfish as wanting to go because of all the emergency things that have happened to me in the past month, being attacked by a dog, having to move, etc., etc. So asking the community for more money after helping me get through such a rough piece to go to Gen Con feels incredibly selfish, but it's the first Dungeons and Dragons convention I've ever gone to where I am blessed enough to have a media badge, and I, in this past session, realizing that all my friends are going, realizing that this is an insane opportunity, that I do want to put it out there and ask. And that is terrible, and my persuasion roll is a solid 10 right now, so take that as you will. Check out Die Hard Dice, by the way. And that's all I got.
Awesome. I do hope that I hope to get to see you there.
I want to go so bad now.
Yeah, a lot of us will be at Gen Con, so I know a number of folks in Legion are also going to be at Gen Con. Hope to see you all there. I know a lot of us are going to PAX Unplugged at the end of the year, which is a ways away, but if you haven't checked out PAX Unplugged, you should. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a great time, and a lot of people are going to, a lot of us are going to be there. Anyways, that's all for that. I loved the Nova and Honoria scene too. I thought it was one of the most interesting and funny dialogues that I've ever seen. The frustration levels and both Nova's like just Nova's, the way that you slow play Nova's understanding of things I really appreciated it all. So how are you doing, Lindy? How did you have fun tonight? What are you up to?
Tonight was super fun. I got to say more stuff that I know. I know so many things. But Nova is just, she's so squirrel-brained and engineer-brained. She doesn't think to just relay these until it comes up in conversation. And then she's like, oh yeah, I know these people. I know where that is. I know this place. You want to go there? I'll take you there. So that was super fun for me because I could finally say one of the things that I've been sitting on for like months now at this point. I really also liked booping the dragon snoot that Rook and Agatha did. They booped the snoot so good he stopped being charmed. Yeah, it was just awesome. It was a good session. I was very stressed the whole time. I'm sure I had an interesting face journey during all of that. You can find me online at LaughLoveLindy, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, where I play and GM a lot of games. My next month is kind of chaotic and hectic as I'm moving. So just keep on the social medias for updates as to what's going on where. But I think we're playing Marvel Superheroes sometime soon. I'm excited for that. So that's it.
Your guys' cosplays are 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I do miss the neck tattoos from last week from Dark.
I literally had them on until yesterday. Yesterday I washed off the stuff. So.
And I'll say too, I'm gonna be on Lindy's channel this upcoming Monday night. For Tales in Exandria, I'll be playing a creepy old man. So there's that. Check it out. Definitely follow social media. I'm doing a bunch of stuff here soon. I'm always excited to play with Lindy and her group. They're a super amount of fun. I have such a great time. But let's go on over to Billy. Billy, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. This is a hoot. I didn't think that any of that stuff was going to happen. I had a hoot. I didn't think that I would ever be in a position to put Tannis in a better position. I didn't think that I would have the nuts to try to mount the dragon. I didn't think I would have the nuts to try to stun, grapple, and punch said dragon in the eye. And that was all completely selfish, but I think my favorite part was being a part of Agatha's struggle to contribute and struggle for duty, and kind of weighing that balance. That's a super great thing to be a part of, because she's the most soldiery character in this whole thing. You can find me at Bill of the Force on Twitter. I will be doing Realms Remembered here, Tales of the Grim, Mondays, 6 p.m. And I will be at Gen Con. There's lots of bars. There's not a lot of shit to do in Indianapolis, but get fucked up. So find me. And if you ask nicely, I might take you to Suplex City.
Wow, what an offer.
Wow, Billy. Why are you doing me like this? What the fuck?
All right. Oh, man. I'm super hyped about Realms Remembered 2, Greg's new Dungeons & Dragons game. I'm really looking forward to it. I know it's coming up soon, and I know everybody involved is really excited about that as well. And now let's go to the initiator of the events that happened tonight. Charlie, you made some daring choices. I really loved your role play from last session into this session through the entire thing. I love your character and what it brings to the group dynamic. How are you doing? How did you feel about tonight?
I'm doing good. I felt hella guilty that I started all of that, got right in the middle of it, and I didn't take any damage until we were on the road and it was the copper dragon coming after us. But I mean, I didn't go in there to fight a dragon. I went in there to try and help. I didn't think she accomplished that. I think Agatha is gonna have to do some serious soul searching, but she did get a hug. And hugs are magic, so go hug a friend. Get consent, but hug a friend. Tonight was full of amazing roleplay. I love Averin in the arm. That's magical. That's something super cool that you do, Don, is these stories of other places within places, and it was very cool. And Greg in that standoff with Lord Soth, Cerealdon, woof, was it spicy? Woof, was it good? We were all being very naughty children in the chat, but it was incredible roleplay. And just this entire team is amazing. I can't wait till Agatha and Nova and Rook and everyone can all hang out and, you know, open some beers, have a good time, and not be running for their lives through this grim, dark nightmare. But until that day, I'm going to be back on Tales from the Grim on Sunday with Sky Chasers. We're starting in the new time, 3 p.m. Eastern, so we get slightly longer sessions. Very exciting. We're going to Las Vegas. It's going to be great. Check out my pin tweet. I'm in a lot of shows every week. Tomorrow we have After the Fire over on Susanna Grace's channel, where we get to talk about our season 1 finale, what we're looking forward to for season 2 in our Song of Ice and Fire game run by RPG Webby. And we're announcing, but I'm going to slip it out a little bit early. We're announcing that next week we will be doing a charity tournament to raise money for the Mermaids charity. And it's going to be a joust, and we have guests, and there's going to be melee fighting, and we're going to have a great time. So I hope you'll be able to come by that next week, July 25th, 8 p.m. Eastern. Nope, that's a lie. 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK. There we go, I got it. Over on RPG Webby's channel. But Greg, thank you so much for hosting this, and Dawn, thank you so much for running. It's been amazing fun. And Carson Craig, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was a blast. And I'll add this too before I go over to Greg, that I think, I mean, I don't know, there have been a lot of nights of crazy good rolling recently.
You have had the most fucking sorry.
I think, Charlie, I think you might have the record for most nat 20s roll. Either you or Kat as Kethra from last week.
There has to be a May Black Roses Bloom stats, right? Can we do that? Because I have never seen so many natural 20s in one goddamn campaign.
I'll say this, I don't roll natural 20s, like super rare, and it's always on the things that I don't want that I get them. So it was super nice tonight. The dice were on Agatha's side, which is very cool.
Well, maybe
it worked out really well. You saved Tennis Half, Evelyn. I did not think that was what's good. That is not what I thought was going to happen. And
I'm sorry, Greg.
The other thing I didn't think was going to happen, speaking of Greg, is I did not think Greg was going to strike a bargain with Soth. I loved that scene with Lord Soth and Sir Riordan. I thought it was going to come to swords. That's what I assumed. And just like pretty much everything that I've ever prepped, just worthless. Just throw it out. It's not what's going to happen. I love the direction that it went in. That was a great scene. How are you doing, Greg?
I'm doing well, my friend. Grimjack21502 on the Twitter, part of the Tales from the Grim team on the Twitch. Coming up on the channel during the Gen Con break, we are going to have a 2-part Star Trek series that will begin not this Monday, but the following Monday, I think at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be set in the Next Generation timeline, non-Kelvin, so it'll be just original TNG. And then we are going to be doing an Aliens roleplay sometime in the near future on Friday nights. So join us if you unfortunately can't go to Gen Con. A lot of us can't, and we're going to be streaming and having fun. So come by, hang out. We'll have our own convention of like a Liege Con or something. I don't know. Just something like that. And yeah, we do have Sky Chasers coming up on Sunday. Awesome show. Check it out. We'll have a lot of fun. But see you here next week for our 30th episode of May Black Roses Bloom. Until next time, my friends.
You're not going to say the thing?
Oh, I didn't know. Dawn, do you have anything else left to say? I was kind of handing it back to you. Oh, okay. Well then. All right, everybody. Let's look at a little realms. Let's look at a little realms remembered. And as the campfire goes down, there's only one thing left to say. You can apparently always roll nat 20s, but make sure you still role play. We'll see you next time, my friends.